Let the beat rock. We couldn't start it off without being on mute the first time. Welcome back, everybody, to the latest edition of the USFL Podcast. I'm the ref, as always, representing Pro Football Newsroom, the number one source in alternative football news. I'm joined, as always, by my man, Zach Kyleman. And I realize I'm probably blowing out some of your ears, so I just turned it down just for you folks. I apologize. But Zach, how you doing today, my man?
Well, I'm doing good. Look, you're just hype. You're just excited for another night, for some young men to get a chance to get an opportunity to be on one of these rosters. That's what this is about. We get to see some of the guys that didn't get that first night that we're going to have the second chance with. And I know that plenty in the chat here that have joined in. Thank you for those guys that have already tuned in already. Geez. They're ready to see that too. We've been talking this whole time, but yeah, 10th episode as well. I'm pumped for that. I mean, it's a combo, man.
Bing bong.
Live episode.
Bing bong, 10 episode. It couldn't have worked out more perfectly. So just, again, there's no curtains on the USFL podcast. We generally record on Thursday nights. So when we were presented with the USFL Supplemental Draft, we had to do it. We're going double digits. We're going live. We're bringing you all the picks, just like we did the last time. And I don't know if we talked about this on the show, but the last time around, we were the most watched USFL draft coverage on, well, not even just on the internet, anywhere. And I can't believe it. Sign you guys up for that. Right. We're hoping to match the success tonight with the supplemental draft. We're getting hype. We're getting live. And you know what? Zach? Actually, I'm going to reach over here because we talked about this before.
Okay.
We got a little bit of a special surprise that we didn't bring up. These are for all the guys that don't need to be enticed to join us. We got a sponsor. They're Royal Retros. If you go to royalretros.com and use coupon code USFL Podcast, you save 10% off of all of your purchases. And that's either retro USFL gear, World Football League, XFL, you name it, they got it. Well, look at these bad boys. They're hooking it up so we can hook you up. They actually provided these for the spring stock giveaway. But you know what? We didn't anticipate going live. So we're going to give one of these hats out to one lucky subscriber. Now, here's the deal, folks. Do you want either a Stars, a Breakers, or a Bandits hat? Here's what you got to do. You got to follow us. You got to click the bell. But I'll tell you, you'll build a little morale along with it to sign you up there. But you also have to share the link to this live stream. So get over to Twitter, get over to Facebook, get over to Instagram, get over to whatever it is. Sign you up. Share it up, and I don't know, maybe around round 6-ish, we'll name the winner. So go ahead, get to sharing. You got a little bit of time, and you could be the lucky winner of one of these. And these are sweet hats, Zach. I wish you could see them in person. These are no joke, and you'll even see, like, the Breakers. We got the name on the side, same with the Stars here. Kind of have, there we go, the championship logo there. Two-time champion, by the way.
No joke. I love what they do with this stuff. Like, it seriously is high quality items. I'm happy that we get to partner up with them. They make a lot of great things that, bring the nostalgic football fan back besides just USFL. We've got 01 XFL gear. I think I've seen UFL. You name it, they got it. AFL too. Like plenty of things that you want to check out. So yeah, we're going to give the hat away. So just stick around. And like I said, Stefan said, share the stream. That'll be your entry point there. Tell you what, beginning of the stream, this is our 10th episode, and we don't want to lose too much sight while we're doing and calling out picks and discussing the picks. Let's knock a few big key points out of the way, shall we?
I think so.
A few newsworthy things last few days coming across the wire.
So you want to start with what do you want to start with? NFTs or schedules? I'll give you your pick.
Tell you what, let's just knock the NFT one out of the way. Just because A, recent, B, I don't know. I mean, the schedules are bigger, but I'd like to finish on a bang with schedule releases. So that's why I'm going to do it.
All right. Let's go to the little web screen here. Again, I feel like we're getting to be professional. It's starting to become smooth. Of course, I was blasting your ears. Oh, actually, it was muted, and then I blasted your ears out. But now we're fixed. But now we have this beautiful, beautiful USFL Podcast Tron 5000 over here on our left, your left. whatever. We're going to look at some news. So we got the NFTs, Zach. So this is one of those topics. This is one of those things. Some people love them. Like some people go gangbusters over NFTs, and there's kind of no middle ground because on the other side of it, some people despise them. Now,
yes,
I'm not going to assume, but what side are you on, Zach?
I will say I am not a fan of NFTs. However, I am more and more realizing, hey, everyone is getting into them. So I like me screaming out top of my lungs is going to do less and less as we go on is what I'm trying to say. Like the USFL, even, if you want to talk about it in terms of the league, Discord is where we saw this first. Someone from our own Discord, funny enough, leaked the official one. They found the link on accident. And sure enough, as they were updating it, we saw stuff where they're putting rules on NFTs, info on NFTs. And we're like, this has got to be something they're either thinking about or they know with how Discord NFT users are that this might happen. And sure enough, here we are. Marketplace drops, But here's the thing. And Stefan, you know this very well. You know me. I follow a lot of damn football.
Yeah,
you do too.
Yeah, I think you follow a little bit more than I do. No, I'm not going to lie. You follow them all.
But yeah, I shouldn't discredit you. I'm sorry. I will take that.
No offense taken.
Back. Long story short, I follow the FCF, and if any of you have followed Fan Control Football, they have gone full NFT. Like they are funded by NFT companies at this point. So this is not that. This is not a pillar of the business. This is a side hustle, probably with cards and access to channels. So like my opinion on not liking them, it doesn't hurt as much on this. Like it doesn't make me think of the league as lesser because they're not trying to make it and push it in your face as what you need to buy.
Right.
You're not a fan unless you buy this trading card of Brian Scott throwing a touchdown pass or something like that. I'm just saying.
Now, I'll tell you this, and this is probably the unpopular opinion maybe on this show and among the chat, but I'm curious, chat, let us know. Let us know your opinions on NFTs. Me, I kind of like it. But for the reasons that you mentioned, it's not the backbone of the USFL. It's an additional thing. And honestly, the coolest thing to come out of it, right? So honestly, I'm not going to lie. I have some NBA Top Shot NFT cards. And I'll probably pick up some of these USFL cards. And I have no problem with that. But I do like the idea, something that the USFL is doing, that the NBA is not doing, and no other sports organization's doing. The players and the coaches get some of the profits from this. Now, asterisk, cool. It is paid out in crypto. But again, bro, I don't know. I think that's pretty cool. There's some other tax things involved and this and that and the other thing. But I don't know. If at least the players are getting something out of it rather than the NBA where they're just selling cards and nobody's getting anything but them.
Right. Look, I'll give you that. I like that aspect. If coaches and players want to jump in, they want to talk to BCL, Blockchain Creative Lab, I think is what it stands for. Correct me in chat if I'm wrong, but they at least get to work with them. They can get some profits credit. They got to go through the transaction as a crypto, from what I understand. That's its own conversation. If you want to look that up, great. But it's something you can put in your back pocket at the end of the day. A little extra chump change, especially if you're a star in this league. Like if you get to that like PJ Walker status, you can make some bank, I bet, if you have like mega fans of the league that are also happen to be NFT buyers that happen to jump into this. So there's potential there. And also, like if we're comparing the FCF, again, I see some people putting the FCF already in here. They already know what I'm talking about. I cannot find anything that says the FCF players are going to make any money off what they're doing. Like all the NFTs they're doing are for like people that are like pseudo investing into teams. So the players don't get a dime of that. When the league is at least trying to be like, look, the majority of these profits go to players and coaches if they're in projects. Like that to me is like a good spin on, hey, we're doing NFTs, but we are still trying to be for the people.
Right. Right.
Like that's how I'm seeing it.
I mean, I think it's cool. I like the collectible aspect, and I think it opens up some opportunities too, to where they could do some cool things. Now imagine this. Well, and really it all comes down to how exclusive these things are as well, right? But
sure.
Imagine a situation where, kind of like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and that golden ticket, maybe you have an NFT, you buy a pack of NFTs, and one of them gets you, I don't know, better seats or an upgrade for seats or something like that at one of the games, or I don't know, free concession. I mean, that's probably a little bit of a stretch because the money would have to change hands, I think, too many times there.
True.
But I think there's an opportunity for some cool stuff. You're kind of seeing it with the Discord. It's been alluded to that there may be some NFT tokens available that give you access to player chats in the Discord. But again, if they tie that to the to like a trading card where, okay, you're not just paying for access for a chat in the Discord, but you happen to get it because you bought a pack of the NFTs, you know what? Sign you up. That's pretty cool.
Right. Well, they are doing some, at least elements that you get with the NFT purchases that they're trying to at least hinting at, or they're starting preliminary stuff on. I know like they're saying free merch will come with purchases of NFTs. A lot of it's Discord related, which if you haven't checked out, look up their USFL Discord.
Discord.gg/USFL.
There you go. And we'll actually, one of us might, I'll try and see if I can share that while we're talking into the chat for those that are interested. But essentially you buy an NFT, they'll eventually have a verification process like the FCF's doing. And then it unlocks apparently team channels or certain channels on there. I guess certain exclusive content they're claiming they're going to put in these channels. A lot of it's Discord based, much like a lot of other NFT projects that I've researched through FCF matters. That's why, again, I'm not the NFT guy. The FCF forced my hand. I had to understand this to get to know. But, just saying, that's their plan. That merch and like other perks that they might release, and early access to other projects, so probably like future clips and other things. And yeah, let's see, I'll put in, I see someone else asking for it, but yeah, that is kind
of gives us something else to look forward to this season though. I mean, the one thing I did like with the XFL and even the AAF, we had Topps trading cards, and quite honestly, in this day and age, trading cards are definitely being phased out and the NFT replacements are coming in. And it seems pretty evident that we're probably not getting Topps trading cards, at least for this year, because, I mean, it's down to the wire if they were going to come out, right?
It's pretty close.
We just had the draft. We're having the supplemental draft this year. Maybe next year. Maybe that'll be gauged off the purchases of these NFTs, right? If there's at least enough interest, they could kind of put the comparisons down with, again, NBA. What's the comparison to, the trading cards that sell versus the NFTs? And they might be able to say, well, okay, this is worth our while. Let's throw it out there. I mean, again, I'm digging it. And like I said, I'm super happy that we're seeing another revenue stream for the players and the coaches. And again, a first that the USFL is doing here, that sign them up. Now, the big news, we have the schedules, because we have a little over 15 minutes until things kick off. So let me pull those up over on this screen real quick here. But as far as opening week, I mean, I have the game I'm looking forward to the most. I think it's probably the one you're looking forward to the most. I could be wrong, but thoughts?
Well, I mean, if you're talking opening week, it's definitely the one that Springstock.
Well, that's a good point. You're right. So, Springstock, April 16th. The party's in the parking lot. Come and join us. Speaking of, so we're doing the giveaway today. We're going to have those two hats. We didn't mention we're going to have that replica LA Express jersey, Steve Young jersey. And that's going to be, we're going to do giveaways. We're doing giveaways for both the people in the parking lot. So if you show up to Springstock, we got giveaways there, but we get it. Not everybody can make it out to Birmingham, Alabama. So we're going to have some exclusive giveaways for the live stream as well. And that's already over on our YouTube channel. So set the reminder today, April 16th. But April 16th, that's the opening day. So that's the one you're most excited for. That seems to be the one online too.
I know which. Yeah, I mean that one just for how much they're pumping it up. I guess. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know which other one I think you were referencing, and that pertains to this very show we get to discuss.
I've been joking about this, and I don't know, it might be coming closer to a reality, and I think it comes down, at least for me, April 17th, 12 p.m. Eastern, Houston versus Michigan, the Gamblers and the Panthers. And I mean, I hate to be that guy. I'll be honest with you, Zach. I've never been that guy, and I've always been the guy to shun people that do what I'm about to say I might do.
Okay.
It might come down to that game. If the Gamblers get shellacked like a good walloping by the Panthers, it's going to be hard, because I'm telling you, and this is no joke, there's no curtains. I'm not even trying to make a story or a character or anything about it.
Oh, I see what's going on here. You keep going.
There's something the whole time deep down inside that it feels wrong not to support the Michigan team. Now, I thought that might happen, but I also also thought that maybe that wouldn't happen because I'm here in Houston. And generally, with the Lions, I grew up with the Lions, but still, there's something in me that it just doesn't feel right. Now, so Arden USFL on Twitter, he's in our Discord, recently made him a moderator. He went ahead, he changed my role to the Panthers, and I didn't change it back. I didn't change it back. So I don't know where I sit, guys. I think it comes down to week 1, and that is the worst. That's like worst fan status. I get it. I'm that guy right now.
The wishy-washy, I got the back pocket bandwagon ready to go. I look, if you haven't clarified yet, or if folks don't know yet, you grew up near Detroit or in the Detroit area, metro area, and you're down near Houston. So you have some ties back to both. I get it, but man, it does make it harder if you go into the season and you flip in the season.
I'm telling you, that's the thing. If it's final decision after game 1. And here's the thing. Oh man, this is gonna haunt me. I know it. But Scout's honor. even if the Gamblers just give them the what for, and beat them 70-0, and then somehow lose the rest of the games, I'm on Gamblers bandwagon. I will not be flipping back. I won't do it. I can't do it. But again, that almost makes me then the part inside of me is well, then you better switch to the Panthers now, because if you're stuck, you're stuck. And there's this, right. It's like the devil and the angel on the shoulders, they're like, you want to do it, but you don't even live there.
See which is which though. I feel like if you're talking to Arden, which by the way, I find that's kind of funny to me how he switched to role. It's just because he also manages a Michigan Panthers Discord, similar deal. So it's all Michigan all the time, Jeff Fisher effect. Let's go, let's hunt, all that type of stuff. So that's good. That's sure. Good. I think, to me, because I'm the Panthers fan here, I'm saying the angel is the Panther, the devil's the gambler. It also, gambling, another type of sin type of thing to some.
That does kind of make sense. That does work out. Now, we do see something interesting with the schedule here. And I think some fans were taken aback a little bit, but we only have the specific teams scheduled out for the first 2 weeks. Now, we recently joined Pro Football Alliance. Actually, you did, and I hijacked it. That was my bad.
Yeah, hang on. I jumped in, coattails were grabbed, and somehow I went, how did he get here?
Well, they said they were taking callers, and no joke. Yes, and I said, well, you know what? I thought it would be funny to call in. I thought it would be funny, just unannounced, be on the other line. That is on them. No, you may have heard me. I did not hear anything on that phone line. I'm recording it for evidence next time. But anyway, yeah, I totally hijacked your spot. It was super fun, though. It was super fun.
It was a good time. I had a great time with Dirty and A-Train there, so that was good. That was good.
But the one thing I pointed out, the one thing I really like about this is it adds another element of competition on that week-to-week basis, right? You're going to see some of these teams bounce in and out of that primetime spot. And I'm telling you, if I'm a Jordan Teamu, I want to be on either Fox or NBC. Nothing against USA or Fox Sports 1, but let's be honest here. What are the games that they're going to want to be on that good spot where everybody's watching?
How many people you think will be disappointed if they're a player? Not to say that they would be disappointed because they're playing in this league and they're probably be happy for it no matter what. But secret back of the mind type of thing. You go, so folks, go to the parents, guys. I'm playing on Peacock. Right. What's Peacock? Well, let me tell you. You need to go in and explain the whole streaming service. It's not like it's. I just 4 games. Like
it's only 4.
You have to be.
It's only 4. Only 4. And I'll say this. I think people know what streaming apps are now, but I will say Peacock is it's a newer one. I don't get the Peacock hate. I actually like Peacock. I use it every night. My wife watches The Office, so they have The Office, so we have Peacock.
See, I haven't used it enough. I have the free version, and the only thing I've used it for pretty much to its degree is there's a Bob Ross channel that's on it where you can just basically, it's like jazz music. It plays Bob Ross on repeat. And then it has a background where it's like the happy trees and mountainscape, like one of his paintings. That's it. The commercial breaks are that. So yeah, I don't know. I don't use it enough. I think it's just like another streaming service, really, but it was bound to happen. They're slowly moving it that way. Luckily, though, to talk on the point we were in here, I am a fan of this setup for a few reasons. So the XFL, we keep comparing. It's the last big attempt, like what the USFL is doing. So let's look back to 2.0, So you have scheduling conflicts, okay? If you've set a set in stone schedule, like they did and like others have in the past, not saying it's just them, there's others too, you are stuck with what's there. Unless you are able to get that flexibility in terms of broadcasting groups, odds are, since you're not the broadcast group that's also handling the league, much like Fox is, you kind of don't dictate that. So setting it in stone means that there might be a good matchup that ends up on a small channel. This basically says, you know what? NBC and Fox are hand in hand. Also, Fox owns this, meaning the flexibility is on us. We get to set what goes on. So they did it like college football is what I understand, meaning the game that in terms of ratings standpoint, in terms of the broadcaster standpoint, the games that they think will have the best ratings, they'll put them on week 3 and after on the main channels. So it is basically promoting you to hopefully have the best ratings to impress the most amount of advertisers to make it look that much better and to get it a better appeal than if you're throwing up some, 8 versus 7 overall seeded game.
Right.
And we have to watch that on NBC and go, that's the only thing we've got, really. I have to go buy a cable package to go watch the top 2 division guys face off. That's what it's avoiding. So I like that. I'm a big fan. Plus playoff implications. You can put it on those channels too. Absolutely.
It adds beyond the competitive element, right? It just adds all sorts of different elements to this that they're at least taking their opportunity to experiment with it all. Will we see this season 2? Maybe not. Maybe we'll see it. Maybe we'll see it even more. I don't know. But they were smart too. One thing they also did is all of the teams get one of the top networks in the first 2 weeks, right? So they at least made sure that every one of these teams is getting some maximum exposure, just in case you have, and I'll say it, the Detroit Lions of the USFL come out and, they're always on Peacock or FS1, which again, I mean, at the end of the day is not even a horrible thing, but let's be honest, Fox and NBC, those are the sweet spots. That's where you want your mama and dada to be watching that one. You know what I mean?
That's where your moolah is going to come in.
Selling those NFTs, brother,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. Do you think, and I'm just because it's there now, do you think they run an ad for the NFT marketplace?
Dude, they'd be stupid not to. And the ref says it 100%. And if you guys are at the USFL are listening, put it up, sign you up. And I'll say, you know what? On their Discord, they have the USFL referee. Feel free. Take a picture right now. I'll do it. First down. There you go. There's your icon. Replace it up. I'm not going to, let me use your logo. I'll let you use my I'm not, I guess I stole the ref idea from every ref out there. I'm not even a real ref. Foul on me.
Hey, you fake it till you make it. That's
one of these days I'm going to be out there on that
points.
USFL field making a horrible play. And everyone's going to say, who the hell let this guy out there? What is this? And they're going to say, YouTube personality, the ref.
Mike Pereira rushing down, realizing the mistake, realizing he let someone slip in that he has no idea how he got here.
Hop that.
Stop that man.
Just slip it. I'll go out there with the sideline pass, slip it under the ref shirt, and get out there. They won't know. Sign me up. I'm joking, of course, just in case. You always got to specify. So we have 5 minutes till the first pick. That's when the Breakers are on the board, I believe. They got the first pick tonight. Let's take a look here.
So I'm just double checking. Yes, the Breakers. So here's the draft order, breaking it down. And Stefan, if you search that up, it's on the USFL Twitter. It's one of the most recent posts.
I got it up on the screen.
But I'll give it. Okay. Well, of course, I'm moderating the chat, so I'm delaying this too. Anyway, nonetheless, you can see the order then. So it's Breakers, Maulers, Stallions, Gamblers, Generals, Stars, Bandits, Panthers. And there's nothing that's like an analytical order. This is a standard 10-round, 80 picks, anything goes draft. This is all about filling out roster spots or positions that coaches think are in need. That is the main thing. Supplemental. You are supplying yourself with extra ammunition going into training camp, extra folks that you can possibly test out, or who knows, maybe they surprise you.
I'll say this. Normally with these supplemental drafts, I would say there's going to be a lot of names that you might not know. Now with this one, I mean, I've heard a couple names that people are going to know. We talked about Brandon Silvers. We talked about Jeremiah Spicer. Rashad Ross is in there. There's still a lot of good talent floating around. Your boy Zim's in there. So there's still some top dudes that are ready to go. And in 3 minutes, we're going to start seeing them fly through. And like you said, this is anything goes. It's not, there's no here, this round is quarterbacks. This is running backs. No, here's what you need. Now, it is going to be curious if we do see a Brandon Silvers come off the board, because then we already have some scenarios where it seems like there's going to be some strong quarterback competition. So if we see Silvers come in the mix, I mean, first, it'll be the first team to have 3 quarterbacks, which if June Jones was here, if June Jones was in the league, I'd say, June Jones couldn't have enough quarterbacks,
If Mark Trestman was in the league, he wouldn't have enough quarterbacks. He would find a way.
That's all this supplemental draft would be. Tight ends, quarterbacks, that's it. His whole team. He wouldn't even have a kicker.
I'll tell you one thing I like with the live one we're doing here is I get people that are like, we have people here that are like, hey, this guy needs to be picked up, Eastbrook Homebrewing, and I'm going off that tag name for your user here. He says, what about Damon Shahi Giuseppe? If you remember him, he had quite the story of getting in to play for the Cleveland Browns in the preseason. He actually I won't say lie. He fibbed his way essentially into getting a tryout. They, he looked good. They let him play. He actually scored a special, I believe it was a kickoff return touchdown was what it was during preseason, I believe back in 2016. And he was in the XFL for a time. Injuries knocked him out, but guy is a speedster. Guy has quite the story. Would be a nice piece that you can make, that you could have and highlight his career via the USFL. And, special team guys, you have someone that's a good speedster. The USFL is trying to emphasize traditional special teams, but there's rumors that they're going to move the kickoff yard line back to the 25 like it used to be, so they can get more kickoffs. Wow. That's rumored. That's not confirmed. But if that's the case, we're going to see back 2000s type of
the
stuff
good old
now.
days.
A little more smash mouth, but more potential for returns. Is it as safe as the XFL one? No, but I think that, and again, this is rumored, but I think they just want it to look as traditional as possible for the audience they're going
for sure. Yeah. I don't think they're going to step outside the boundaries too much, which is a good thing, which is absolutely a good thing. Keep it traditional. And I kind of lean towards the idea of, I kind of think it's cool that they're pushing it back, because here's the thing. And I don't know. I don't want to say that anybody did discuss this, but if they did use the XFL kickoff rules, that's what everybody would say is, oh, they're using the XFL kickoff rules. So they know they need to do something different. So it's either use the NFL or do something different that people will still remember. That being said, breakers are on the board. The draft first round's officially starting. It is 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. We got 80 picks, 10 rounds. Like I said, I'm excited to see some of these guys. And I think we are going to see a couple surprises come out of here. So Appleman, 20. Ref, Birmingham needs some wide receivers. Yeah, there's a good, honestly, I was looking through, and there's a few teams that are lacking some crucial roles on defense, like where they really went light, or even on the like running backs. Most teams only have like one running back right now, which I get it. It seems like they're going for that pass-heavy league, but still, one dude, that's a little low,
well,
right?
It was kind of cool with how the draft went down is, we're all trying to figure out how these coaches are going to sort or sign or basically line up their rosters. A lot of them are college coaches, or, in terms of like Kirby Wilson, he's never had this opportunity. So like we wanted to see what he invested heavily in. So you're seeing a lot of that, I think, in the compensatory picks. You saw like priorities assigned. We saw guys that, they picked up five. Like I know Vinny Papal was picked up as a fifth receiver at one point. I said rushes on, defensive ends or tackles. Tackles specifically, I remember was one of them that happened too. So, that I think you're going to see with the supplemental possibly filling out those pieces that, like you're saying, they went light. Like, for example, running back, say if you need an extra one, here's a round. You can do this whenever you please, whatever. We're going to see, I think, supplementalists to fill the roster, but the importance of what still is missing, now it's going to be, you're going to get that vibe of a traditional NFL-esque draft, just, not at the same stakes, I guess, is how I'm trying to round that out.
And I'm super glad, again, the timing couldn't be more perfect. I mean, this week, for you, this week has to have been pretty sweet. We joked about this maybe a week or two ago, speculating on when we might see the schedules, and you joked, hey, just wait till the 10th. That's my birthday. And I don't want to say that they waited because we said that, but boy, regardless of how it happened, that was a heck of a birthday present to you, right? That was pretty sweet.
I can't even, that was just out of the blue going, all right, shoot, hey, maybe they waited around. I'm telling you, man, I couldn't have predicted that. So kudos to the league for, again, and I'll say this not even joking now, kudos to the league for waiting for my birthday to drop that schedule. You're the real MVP, you folks. Eric Shanks, Edward Hartman, Darren James over there in media, you guys are the MVPs. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
We had a killer week this week, right? Beyond that, we got the NFT news, which again, some people like, some people don't. I'm jazzed to see what they do because, again, while we're waiting for the pick, I'm just going to be talking throughout this thing and switch. You know how I go. I just bounce around.
Not totally understandable.
But in the wording, and we've noticed wording is important with the USFL. In the wording, it makes it seem that the players are going to get profits from the NFTs, but they also, it kind of made it sound like they're going to have a part in making them. Right. So imagine, again, I don't want to say it's going to be TikTok dances and things like that, but I do like the idea of the players having like a creative role in the process. Potentially, again, I could be looking too much into the words too. So we'll have to see. It could just be trading cards, quite honestly.
I mean, I would assume it's trading card. We'll find out as they go closer to the season. I think that's the plan. A lot of this is also going to rely on, like, we need to see these guys in uniforms. We need to see these guys. I imagine if you're going to do like Top Shot, we want, highlights. So like, get those clips, put them on a blockchain code, and boom, that you can buy it. And there's a lot of possibilities for those players and coaches that they want to be part of a project and get something back to them, which is the nice part about this whole deal. So the USFL did post a tweet saying, it was about 12 minutes now, that was like, well, we're about to be on the clock. So like I said, the breakers are on the clock. It's just, we have to wait for that post. So this is definitely not as it's not going to be as resource heavy. It looks like. I think they're going to make. I'm suspecting from what we've talked about behind the scenes, they're going to make graphics and such. That they will do something along.
Quick speculation zone before,
okay,
because we'll know really soon. So we got to do it fast. Do we get them one at a time, or do we get them by round?
Ooh,
and I mean, we're counting down the minutes if we're right or wrong, depending.
Right. I mean, that in that case, so that'll change things up completely if they do. I don't know. I mean, they didn't even make for example, all they did for the 10-minute mark one was they went, hey, RT, if you're ready for the final 10 rounds. I don't know. We'll see pretty soon, I would think. I'm basically madly refreshing.
I'm with you. And here's the thing is I know the chat's going to let us know. They're going to say, hey guys, you dim bulbs, the pick is out there. So that's the one great thing about our chat. They'll let us know. But I mean, we got so much stuff. I mean, we kind of brushed through some of those topics earlier, but go on.
We do. Yeah, we definitely don't want to mess up. Okay. I will say, and I'm only jumping in. So now it is definitely officially on the clock. USFL posting. Here we go. Final 10 rounds are officially underway. So that was only a few seconds ago on Twitter.
I mean, fashionably late, right? Fashionably late. And quite honestly, this could be a preventative measure. It could be a delayed situation where maybe the draft did start promptly at 7, but to give the time, because again, man, if they really do them by the round, that's a lot of graphics to be pumping out left and right. And so I say there's no shame in that game, and it gives us more time to talk and chat with the crowd here, which I mean, I knew we wouldn't draw in as many people as that first draft. I mean, the inaugural draft was the big one, but we're over 250 people watching right now, and I'd say that's pretty dang good. So for the new people that have joined, let me grab them real quick.
Yeah, he's got a nice little gift.
We're doing another giveaway. So thanks to Royal Retros, our sponsor. Again, if you use code USFL podcast over at royalretros.com, you get 10% off your purchase. But they supplied these hats that 2 of them we're going to be giving away during spring stock, but 1 of them we're giving away today. So and you get to pick. So either the Bandits, the Stars, or the Breakers. And again, they're pretty sweet. They got fully embroidered logos on the side. Stars have the championship logo there as well. Here's what you got to do. You got to make sure you're subscribed. Click the bell. Again, you're going to build a little bit of morale along the way. And you have to share the link to this over on Twitter or Facebook. Hey, or if you're feeling generous, go ahead and do both. And we're checking. We're checking for evidence. If you didn't share it, you're not winning. We're picking another one. So if you want to be the lucky winner of one of these hats, make sure you subscribe, click the bell, and share the video.
We got
a pick. Perfect timing.
The Breakers, and they are doing graphics one by one. First pick in the inaugural supplemental draft for the USFL, we have Justin Johnson, tight end, Mississippi State.
I think we're going to see a good amount of tight ends tonight. Like I said, this would be Mark Trestman's favorite night in the draft, because when I was looking through the rosters, there's a lot of teams that are very light on the tight ends right now. So I'm actually updating. If anybody wants to keep track as well, we're going to be updating the draft tracker over on XFL Newsroom and USFLnewsroom.com. So pick your poison. We're over there. So I'm just updating that as well while we look. But first pick of the night, tight end. Let's see what we got here.
Justin Johnson.
West Virginia, it looks like.
Mississippi State is the school.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Was 4 years at least with Mississippi State. Had a true freshman year, 2015. Senior year was 2018. His senior year, 17 catches, 238 yards, a touchdown, 4th leading receiver for the Bulldogs, and first among the tight ends group. And then looking around, looks like he's had stops at least with the Arizona Cardinals in the NFL, and also with the Seattle Seahawks.
Very nice.
That I can also get.
Again, we talked about this the last time around, and I think we're going to see a lot of these guys that either had some stints in the practice squad or maybe had a tryout or something like that. All of that experience is good. It's going to help not only themselves, but the people around them. Just having again, the different types of coaches helping you out throughout your career, right? Right. I mean, all in all, so far, so good. Like I said, I think we're going to see a lot of tight ends tonight, but I think we're going to see maybe a couple surprises here. And if they do happen, they're probably going to happen early on. So I think, if there's some of those bigger names, like again, a Brandon Silvers, we see a lot of people in the chat here rooting for Jeremiah Spicer, right? So that's one, again, I'm fully hoping to see.
Zim Williams,
of course.
Gotta throw that out there. Tell you what, this is the beauty of the supplemental is we get to also see where they add to the rosters now. So, like for example, Justin Johnson, he's going to be joining Sal Cannella. So as we already mentioned, Cannella had a great stint with the TSL already. So building up a bit more of that is kind of the depth they needed. Sal was the only one, of course, and they only did draft really one per. So if you wanted your second tight end, this is where you get it tonight as well. Too. Good place for it.
So we have the Maulers on the board now. Maulers are on the board. So that's who we're waiting for next. Again, you mentioned this earlier, Kirby Wilson, first time really leading the charge for a team in that head coach spot. So this is one of the things that we kind of saw with Hayes in the XFL with St. Louis. They were willing to experiment a little bit more, especially in these drafts. So I could see an exciting pick coming up here, at least from an experimental standpoint. So, I mean, it should be coming any minute. Now, so what did we have here? I don't believe they said how many minutes between rounds tonight, though. So we'll have to gauge. I mean, at maximum 3. I don't think they're going to go beyond that, right? That was the max the first night.
Well, and you notice again, like we've talked, the supplementals more to fill spots and also mostly for the majority of it, practice squad. Actually, got another one as we're talking. You want to announce this one?
Ethan Westbrook, West Texas A&M, your second pick, defensive tackle for the Pittsburgh Maulers. Here we go. So they're coming in pretty smooth now. They're really, now that they kind of broke the seal, if you will, we're starting to see them come through.
Nice. I'm definitely getting to feel a little more rotation here. Let's see. Looking up, trying to get Ethan's bio as we can pull that up. Ethan Westbrook. All righty. West Texas A&M. Again, that is let's see. A position here was defensive tackle there. Yes. Building up and bolstering that defense.
Well, and that, like I said, kind of on the same point as the tight ends. I think you're going to see a lot of defensive guys tonight, and really a lot of those supporting role characters coming through. But let's see what we can. Let me actually pull up the screen so I can change and share the graphic.
Yeah.
Here.
So Westbrook's actually. I just got what I was looking for. So he's been through the NFL ringer for a bit. He actually started out. He had a 4-season, I believe 5 season if you round up with the numbers. 5-season stint with the Rams. Started in 2014 in St. Louis. Transitioned with them to Los Angeles, and then kind of bounced around to the Raiders, 49ers. He's with the Generals in 2021. Went back to the NFL for 2 stints with the Raiders again and the Saints. Here he is. So he's actually one of the more veteran guys in this draft so far, at least out of any of the main players, not talking like say special teams or anything. That's it's been a pretty youthful draft. So like this is, he's been in the NFL for a minute now. Nice to getting a little more of that pro talent, or at least experienced pro talent. I shouldn't say pro talent because they are all
for sure.
Well,
and we're getting again some of that spring league experience coming back in too, right? So I think that really does help. Anytime you have, again, the various different types of skills and really just knowledge that you pick up throughout all the different leagues. We have another pick. Is that what's going on?
We have 2 more. Wow. Actually, they rushed by us here because we got, for number 3 pick, you have Ryan Williams Pope, offensive tackle, San Diego State. And then for the Gamblers, you have Josh Avery, Southeast Missouri State.
Josh Avery. Now that sounds familiar, but I don't believe it's the same Avery that played for the Roughnecks, But I do want to say that he played either in the spring league or the XFL possibly.
Yeah, that one's coming up. That one to me is coming very familiar. But he is joining up with the Gamblers there, and it looks like you got Skip Holtz building up and adding on more OL depth with Williams. Pope is.
So again, offensive tackle. What was what was the Gamblers pick again? Remind me.
Josh Avery.
Josh Avery. That's right.
Southeast Missouri State.
Can you find anything about him there? What do I need to know? Sorry, I'm updating this one. They're coming fast and furious on us.
Yeah, so he's had a few recent stints with the Packers. He had one last year for a tryout, it looks like. Also was with the Seahawks at one point. Looks like in 2020. Carolina Panthers. He has had a stop at with a bio. Still pretty young kid. 25. It looks like. But yeah, he's coming. It just came out. This is one I think because of the school size. It's like I'm kind of hunting down a little bit more.
Right. Yeah, there's gonna be some names in here. So we apologize that there's not a lot of information on. We're gonna do our best. But if we don't know, we'll give you fun banter in between. So at least you can get signed up on that. So we have the Generals with the next pick. So let's see if we can find anything out from them.
And now they're actually coming kind of fast because now looks like 5 and 6.
Oh wow, okay.
Dropped as we were looking. So number 5, Tashun Render from Middle Tennessee, defensive end. And then number 6, another tackle, Gunnar Vogel, Northwestern.
I like the name.
Going to the
I like the name already. Gunnar in itself, sign me up on that all day and night. I hope he can live up to the name. I know Stars fans will be looking forward to that, but we have 2 offensive tackles back to back there.
Yeah, it's good to have line. Here's the thing. I'm a big proponent, and I think others are too, if you're in this here, is you want to have offensive line depth. I think that, again, we talk about how small these rosters are compared to other leagues. And so, if there's really one position, if you're talking about protecting your most valuable asset in quarterback, you can either keep on picking up QBs if they get injured. Not saying that all of them will. But
you have to protect yourself as a team.
But the better way to do it is have good quality offensive line play. It helps every other facet of your O work correctly. So I am fine with the depth portions built up here. I'm also fine with with really both lines. You're seeing a lot of picks here are line picks. All right, who's it?
Jerron Jones, Notre Dame offensive tackle for the Tampa Bay Bandits. Again, good quality school here. 7th pick in the first round. Bandits getting their first one. So we're seeing, most of these guys so far have been offensive tackles, quite honestly.
Yeah, a lot of offensive line pickups here. You're seeing defensive tackle, defensive end guys. Really, yeah, it's funny. The first pick is the outlier for Justin Johnson. Right. So Larry Fedora investing into offensive components. But again, he runs more of a a spread offense, a lot of options to go with. So completely understandable. And as we're getting in here, the end of our first round's already up. Panthers. Picking Warren Saba, Eastern Carolina defensive back.
Okay.
Getting selected.
All right. There. Get him in our tracker here. And they're up next. So we might see 2 quick picks from them because they're up first in the 2nd round here. And so they're the first ones to take a defensive back here in the draft.
At least in the supplemental.
In the first round of the supplemental draft. I should have clarified that. Just keep the pitchforks, keep the fire, all of it away. We're getting there.
Yeah, so Saba's going to join, at least in terms of the Panthers. You'll get him joining that group, which includes Jalen Burrell, Jamison Houston, and Tino Ellis. That they'll be part of that as well. And if I were to assume with the supplemental going, and I saw someone post that nicely, where it's supposed to be generally 3 of the last remaining open active roster spots, along with mostly practice squad they're picking up here. So you would assume earlier rounds, the higher value, again, things can change. It still can be wide open for certain positions, especially like defensive back. But you would have to assume these earlier rounds, these first three are like, who am I thinking are my final active roster pieces?
Right.
The ones that I definitely want to have on game day just in case something goes wrong.
For sure. And, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I'm just glad that they're giving us they're actually putting the effort into this, right? Even when we look at they gave him a lot of flack. People gave him a lot of flack for not giving live coverage during the inaugural draft. But if we look back at the XFL, they did have coverage on streaming. But they didn't do any coverage for the supplemental. They just here's a press release, here are the names. And I think it's kind of cool. I mean, regardless if you're a practice squad guy or you're going to end up on the active roster, they're highlighting every one of these picks, right? They're putting their name out. I mean, some of these guys, quite honestly, one or two might not make the roster, might not even make the practice squad, and they're getting a little shine on their name, whether that be through injury or whatever it might be, right? I don't think we're going to see a lot of cuts just because of the roster sizes, but I mean, things happen, especially in a physical sport like this.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is really key. I mean, keep in mind too, and this is funny enough, we'll use this as a reclarification thanks to the folks over at the league for officials. That whole confusion on that combine free agent thing. They're not doing that. April 9th, pretty much right before the season, they're borrowing an American National Combines event to look at guys. So, and that's mostly for, hey, if we really need people on the fly, like if we're starting to get a bunch of practice squad guys on the come up, that's where they're like, okay, let's see if some people we can quickly grab. We'll have them on speed dial if they're available or something. We can give them a quick call,
right on.
So that's what that is. And that was what the combine was supposed to be when it was clumsily, I'll say it, clumsily announced by Adam Schefter. I'm not even going to sugarcoat that because that was out of left field. He doesn't talk about the league and he somehow posted that. And it just made so much weirdness to that day.
It's funny too, because there's a lot of people I've spoken to that have no clue where he even got that news from. Right. Which is because there's one person that you can almost always trust in reporting, and it's Adam Schefter. So clearly he got the news somewhere. Somebody had the birdies talk, but it just that line of communication. Sometimes when you play that telephone game, oh my good, what is going on? Oh, okay, cool. Never mind. I thought we had a spammer. Never mind. Sorry. Anytime I see emoji, so we have Heffin Davies from Wales. Sign him up here.
He's from Wales? So, you're watching from Wales?
Sign you up. Thanks for sticking with it. It's got to be late over there now.
Wow.
So let's see. We're still waiting on the first pick of the second round from the Michigan Panthers. Jeff Fisher, he likes to keep things a little suspenseful here. So, we'll keep you posted. We're rapidly refreshing, but I think once we get into it, we saw in that first round, I think it's going to probably get faster throughout the day too. I think a lot of these coaches there's probably a list of guys they already have on their list that they say, okay, if this guy's here by round 3, snatch him. Round 6, snatch him. So I think we're going to start seeing these rounds fly pretty fast. But again, the suspense, and who knows, they might take breaks in between rounds. I mean, got to wet your whistle, got to get a little snack. Ain't no shame in that game as well.
No.
I'm curious. No. While we're waiting for this, I'm going to pop over to the official USFL Discord. And I'm curious. Let's see. Is it popping in here tonight? It's doing pretty well. I won't lie. It's very much like our Discord. Most of the people are in there,
right?
Which is cool. I'm glad. I think it's kind of awesome. How's everyone?
I was
chat in here.
I'm looking while we're waiting here. Just kind of looking up some of the picks. Kind of going back. Jerron Jones actually is familiar. If I am seeing the right Jerron Jones, he played in the XFL.
Oh, right on.
Yes, that is the right. So he was actually a starting tackle for the Guardians.
I should have did it. I should have trusted my instinct. I wanted to say he was on the Guardians, right? But I didn't want to be wrong. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh no. I mean, hey, look, when you're doing this live, you have to really be good at getting stuff on the fly. So I'm feeling it. Like I still had to be careful and looking, but yes, just confirming this is the same Deron Jones who was with the Guardians, who was trying to protect, well, at sometimes Matt McGloin, other times, Luis Perez, you name it, doing the best they can. You know what I'm saying? I mean, hey, they were 3-2 before
we have a new pick in, and I'm gonna do you a solid, Zach. I'm gonna go do my best. I apologize if I get this wrong. Maea Tuahema, Southeast Louisiana offensive guard. First pick in the second round of the USFL Supplemental Draft for the Panthers. Maea. I think I did my best. And you guys, the ones that have been watching us, this is nothing new. I can barely say my own name right. So it ain't, I'm sorry. I'm bad. I get it.
I'm just saying, hey, I appreciate you doing the solid then. Look, it happens, man. I mean, you remember our first stream, you have to you're doing it on the fly. That's all it is. You're just trying to get the best you can. So I feel you. But second round.
And he's got, this is another guy with some XFL experience and AAF. So he spent some time with the Commanders, San Antonio Commanders. He had some time with the Renegades, the Guardians, and Team 9. So he's one of those guys that worked his way up and made it on, and I assume he either got traded. I don't know the details and specifics, but I'll look into that. No, he was waived by the Renegades, claimed by the Guardians. So, yeah, and that's pretty cool. So he worked his way up from Team 9, which is run by Bart Andrus. So it's unfortunate that we didn't see him get picked up there, but I think a solid pick for the Panthers here.
No realignment.
Yeah.
Yes. It seems that way. Again, we're seeing that continued already pattern so far. Investing in line play, getting that essential part of the ball reaffirmed is what's happening right now. I don't disagree at all. I think that's a good strategy for a draft like this. It's padding the roster with at least pieces that you might see go down quickly or might need to have extra assets for. As we do have the Bandits next pick, and that is Quentin Meeks from Stanford.
Again, big school, good school here. I mean, if you go into Stanford, you have, and not to say not all schools do, but I mean, you got to be smart to get into Stanford. So
I would say that's an observational piece. Yes, I
probably shouldn't say things like that, but I went to community college, so I mean, don't be mad at me.
No, and this is, look, no slight to him. Like I'm just saying that, Stanford is one of those high prestigious schools. Athletics and academics, sometimes it's not always the same deal. That's what I was meaning. But hey, I mean, great school to go to for your academics. That's the case. Background on him, as I see folks already posting about it, and Jim posting about it via our Inside the Walls podcast. Dude was picked up by the Jaguars in 2018 and had a 2-year stint with the Los Angeles Chargers. Went back to Jacksonville in 2020, and then had a quick spell over with the Titans this past offseason. So this guy's been straight up NFL this whole time. This is someone that is now repositioning and I would say taking a different avenue to see where he can go. So nice job there. Doesn't have his other accolades, second team All Pac-12 2017. So that was a senior year.
Real quick, we have our stars pick in. Stars second pick
junior in. Junior year. Oh, all right.
Adam Rodriguez, edge fullback. Let me pull him back up. I turned him off here. I don't know why I did that. Edge fullback from Weber State, which I believe we saw a couple guys come from Weber State the last time around as well here, which puts up the Generals up next. I'm just going to take a quick look because they're coming through. Yep, here we go.
Yeah, I was to say they already off the gate. Let's see here. Christian
Tutt from Auburn. Sign him up. Cornerback.
Yep. Cornerback return. Oh, they have listed as return specialist.
Oh, okay.
So
this could be the guy. This could be the guy.
Implying.
There's some of these guys. Who was the guy on the Bears? You'll know.
Come on.
Hester?
Are you
Hester,
talking
was
like
that his name?
really?
I don't give it.
Yes, Devin
you should be happy I even remember anybody on the Bears, all right?
Okay, I'll give you a pass. But anyway, Devin Hester, guy that was up for the Hall of Fame this year, not to brag, sets many records in special teams, not to brag, considered a guy that changed the game in terms of that regard, not to brag, but yes, that is what this pick looks like. It is designed specifically to get that solidified, which, you know what? We talked about it. It's rumored that it's the possibility going to 25-yard line, getting the kickoff return back to what it used to be is there. So you're going to have less through the end zone kicks because it's 10 yards. That does make a difference. More returns. You want to have some guys that know this stuff and that they are going to give you the best place for field positioning. And
we got a couple. We got 2 picks. So I just want to jump. So we have the Gamblers, Christian Sicoli, listed as offensive guard, offensive center, and defensive end. So kind of a mixed guy. Dang. But then we have JoJo Tillery, safety from Wofford, which is, again, I'm trying to place it on where, but I know the name. It may just be from, I talk to so many people and get so many pings on guys to look out for. So it could be one of those situations. But I want to say it's a familiar name that I believe played in at least one of either the spring league or a spring league.
Yeah, I've got Tennessee, of course, is in his bio there. He also has a CFL bio from the looks of things.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, so he does have that. And, of course, I'm waiting on the CFL website to give me an update.
You're going to be waiting a while. I don't know what kind of server. They're running their servers off of Maple Leafs up there, I'm telling you.
It's something. I don't even know if this is accurate. They have him listed as linebacker, which, look, Brian Urlacher was a safety converted to a linebacker. That's fine. But I'm still kind of going, all right. So I can't fully confirm.
Here's an interesting fact from the chat. I want to say Ewan Ashcroft. I apologize. JoJo Tillery picked off Thorson in the NFL season once before.
Preseason.
Sorry, preseason. Yes. Sorry. Yes. Pitchforks fire, stay away. So that I kind of like to see. Well, actually, I don't like to see that. Well, we'll know after week 1. Maybe I will.
You're not 100%. You're not 100% anyway. For the Stallions. So I found this fascinating with how they listed these because, and again, this is me. I'll put speculations on how that's listed. So, for example, for Christian Sicoli, he has those positions all listed off. So generally, that's implying a practice squad membership. Right. That is because for practice squad, it's more supposed to be for versatility to help mimic the opponent coming up that week. That's kind of, you're supposed to be helping out with getting your team ready. So that's the main deal. I'm assuming from what your looks,
we have another pick. Pittsburgh Maulers. We have Keith Gibson Jr. from Mary Hardin Baylor, cornerback ATH. Let's take a look here.
Hardin Baylor.
That's a school
that is definitely
go on.
Definitely the first time.
I was going to say, yeah, I apologize. That one's a new one for me, but let's see what we can find out about Mr. Gibson over here. And then that would put us, who would be up next then? So that gives us the Breakers would be on the board next. So we just make sure that we're not missing out with them.
We're kind of zooming through this. I mean, again, more extra pieces like we talked, but I don't know.
We have it.
It's pretty fast already through round 2.
We have our Breakers pick as well. So let me just scroll down again. Keith Washington II from West Virginia. Again, solid school here. Cornerback. So I think it looks like maybe they're still building some of those big pieces over there down in New Orleans. Updating the list here for you. Now, I'm curious for the chat while we're looking up some more details here. What do you think of the picks so far? Is there any names that you're super excited to see join, whether it be the practice squad? Because quite honestly, a lot of these practice squad guys might get a chance to play sometime this season. And then more importantly, what are some names that we haven't seen that you do want to see? Like I said, there's been a couple that we've seen come in the chat already, but I'm curious, what are some other ones here? While we're waiting on the boards, we have the Tampa Bay Bandits will be up next. which they haven't made their pick just yet, but we are giving it a refresh. We'll keep you posted.
Taking a look there.
But we're getting there. So that was the last pick of round 2. So we might be on another little break here. We did see kind of a little break between round 1 and 2, but 2 rounds in, 8 rounds to go. We're 16 picks out of 80 so far. And very much as we speculate, it seems like we're getting, you had mentioned a lot of these practice squad guys making sure that the team is ready and prepared for anything that happens on the field. And I mean, that's really only a good thing. Now, I will say the return specialist one, that one could be a name to look out for this year if they start going in that direction, because I mean, that would make for exciting football. I mean, who doesn't love watching somebody rush back a punt return for a touchdown? I will say it is bad luck when it happens off the first kickoff of the game. Anytime I see it, I'm like, oh, no, they lost. Anytime you get that touchdown like instantly in the first game, it feels like 9 times. And maybe I'm just a Lions fan. I don't know. But go on.
No, I mean, I was just saying, like, I think that's something that people do clamor for. You know, they want to see that return. Obviously, there's the stipulation that, you know, again, injuries do apply to this. So that's the argument. But I mean, that's the direction they go. They want traditional smash mouth. So you're getting return specialist as an option that you're going to be having added on to here. I'm just looking up a few players myself. So Keith Washington Jr., for example, he was most recently, looks like, brought back onto the Saints. Of course, he was Western Michigan as of course, a cornerback. Let's see, Al Scott here. A few more bits. But yeah, it looks like the Saints have been mainly where he's been working out of.
It's good to see that we're still continuing to see guys come in here that still have a breadth of experience, right? So, I mean, again, looking at the supplemental draft, I don't think I would have expected to see as many guys that we have that did have NFL experience at some point. So, I mean, I'm signed up on that as well because, again, you know, some of these guys, quite honestly, with the practice squad and things like that, they're going to help teach even the starters some of the things that maybe, you know, some of these guys are young, right? And so having just that experience around you beyond the coaches, I mean, that's only a good thing in my mind.
Well, yeah, no, without a doubt. I think that's a valuable part. You know, you get to, you know what coming in, what you need to have experience or you have to be ready for, you know, but I think for those folks, they've been at least to the top. They haven't gotten their chance to kind of chomp at the bit and get onto the field. So now, you know, you want to be able, this is why you take this alternative.
Right on.
You are here to get that feel, get on the field, get that tape. If you go back up, that's great. If not, you know, maybe you find something here. You know, it's early on for the league. You know, the hope is everything keeps going up and up. But, you know, right now, of course, first thing is get back.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And well, and that's what'll be interesting come like season 2, season 3, if things stay consistent or even build for the USFL. I mean, then you add in a whole new factor of, well, if I don't make it to the NFL, I at least can work on keeping my spot here. And you would assume as the league grows that salary is going to grow as well, right? And I think especially as you start getting private owners in there, and I assume there's going to be restrictions. You're not going to have like people throwing money. You're not going to see a repeat of what we saw the first with the old USFL, right? But at the same time, I think you're going to see some healthy competition between these owners, at least once. And again, I'm talking season 3, 5, and beyond. And that's, if we get there, it seems like we're going to get at least 3 seasons. Knock on wood. A lot of things could happen, as we've seen in the past, that are outside of the control of anything. But I'll say, at least this first season, it's almost foolproof to where it can't fail, right? And I hate to say definitive things like that because then, you know, I'll end up with egg on my face. But I mean, realistically, you know, as much as we've heard chatter online about the central hub, that's going to be the big saving grace, at least for that first year. And then season 2, it looks like we might be expanding a little bit more. But we're still waiting. Tampa Bay Bandits keeping that suspense. But yeah, it seems like we might be getting breaks in between the rounds here. But during the rounds, they're coming pretty steady, coming pretty quick. Like I said, we're 2/10 of the way through the draft here. Not too bad. Not too bad.
Slowing, kind of. It's been like a medium pace, kind of how they've done it so far. You know,
episode 10 though.
Just more.
We made it 10 of these bad boys in.
Yeah, by the way, shout out to those tuning in for episode 10 on here. That is a massive thank you that I want to give out and that we want to give out as well. So appreciate that. We are going to wait a little longer till we drop our surprise on who we have an interview for later in this stream. So stay tuned. It is a player that was drafted back in the original 22nd, 23rd main draft. So you'll get another treat. You know, I hope you folks checked out the Jeff Bedette one that we did.
Real quick.
Had a blast doing that.
Quick. Next pick. First pick of the third round is in Matthew Burrell Jr. My hood over here, Sam Houston State, listed as offensive center, guard, and tackle.
Oh, they dropped like 3.
Oh boy!
All of a sudden, like it was quick.
So we have stars and generals then, right?
Yeah. So stars here. Lene Mayava. I'm gonna say Mayava. It's Lene Mayava, offensive tackle from Arizona. As the college, he went to the Stars. Mike Bell, Fresno State, listed as a strong safety and linebacker.
All right. So again, we get a little bit of a break, but they come out swinging. It seems like 3 in a row. So I expect that. So we have the Panthers up next. So I assume they're going to be coming out of the gate pretty hot here. Let's see who we got here. You said Mike Bell. Mike Bell. That's another name that sounds familiar, but it is a common name. So it could be very much something along those lines.
Yeah, no, I feel you. And then I noticed, by the way, thanks to the chat. I know one of you folks in there, and I'm trying to find your name here again. I've seen a few of you with the with one of the schools that we listed earlier. I'm sorry, it's a little different when you got the chat.
While you look that up, we have the Panthers on the board here. Tight end Marcus Baugh from Ohio State. So we're getting that's rivalry territory right there. I'll say that.
Well, hey, that's again the position that you only really had one pick. So, I mean, might as well stack it up a little bit. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck with trying to on the fly sign someone off the street. You know, I'd rather have somebody who knows the system right out of the gate, if possible. And that was more of a limitation of the original draft was, you know, they gave it only really one spot to pick up tight end. This is your chance to get that second one if you are looking to do that. Otherwise, I mean, hey, sure, run with the receivers as your pass catchers and figure out how to do it on the outsides with the extra blockers. I'm just saying that it is. Mary Hardin Baylor. Yes, I apologize. We do. We had William Brown mention Haston Adams already being drafted from Mary Hardin Baylor. Yes, that is correct. I recollecting on the fly, that is on us. But just to let you know, we do recognize that you pointed that out. Thank you very much.
Sign you up
for that.
Again, no curtains on this. Ain't no shame in that game. We love the fan interaction, quite honestly, because that's what makes this fun. But all eyes are on the Breakers. We're waiting on the Breakers here for that next pick in the draft here, which would be the fifth pick in this draft. So they're holding things up, but I expect we're going to see a bing, 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 kind of like we did. The coaches are probably going to have their picks ready, especially with this extra time here. But again,
they kind of been rapid fire that last few. You got to catch up real quick.
But this has been a fun night. I mean, quite honestly, like I said, while we're waiting for this, the stars aligned perfectly. I might have debated even going live for episode 10 without the supplemental draft, but the fact that it lined up this way, we can be with the fans makes it super fun, super exciting. And again, thanks for the support. I mean, we're just 2.5 months into this. I never expected that we'd have 1,000 subscribers, let alone over 2,500. But on that note, Breakers got their pick in here. First running back of the night, TJ Logan Jr. from North Carolina, coming in here.
That, funny enough, the connection already standing out.
Right.
Because if you know Larry Fedora, you know, Mr. NC, and I'm double checking, of course, because people are like, are you sure
at the same time?
Sure, he played in the same era? Because, like, yes, I'm gotta check that. And based on what I'm looking at, yes, definitely was during that era. So that is a familiar name. At least if we were guessing so from Mr. Fedora, Coach Fedora, if you will. That is a guy who probably knows what he's getting out. Milady. What?
Dude, I hope he doesn't watch. Excuse me. Ooh, I hope he doesn't watch this, because I'll tell you, that's a guy that could kick my butt. I'm just saying, we've all seen the pictures, but we do have the Gamblers pick up. If you wanna pull that one up, I've been stealing all the thunder from you.
No, that's fine. It's fine. I mean, hey, it happens there. I'm trying to. Yeah, we actually have also the Birmingham Stallions as next pick too. So I'll do a double here. Malik Harris, and I'm going to. Does that say Incarnate Word?
Hold on. Let me pull him back up.
That's what the graphic says.
Let me pull it up one more. Incarnate Word. It is. That sounds probably like maybe like a Christian college or something like that.
Okay, because that one I'll have to check up. Same goes for this one as well. Dondre Tillman, defensive end from IUP. Or if it's pronounced.
I don't think it is. But God, I hope it is.
So now you have, so round 3, 2 back-to-backs. These are guys filling out spots for depth is what you got here. And it looks like for TJ Logan, you're getting a familiar face plus depth in terms of the Breakers. Because, I mean, so let's take a look back again with the Breakers, who they have at running back. If we are double checking. So he'll be joining that group, which is Jordan Ellis and Larry Rose III out of that whole setup.
We do.
So get someone that's familiar with the Fedora spread out offense.
So we have our last pick of the 3rd round in for the Pittsburgh Maulers, Dale Warren from UT Chattanooga, linebacker, outside linebacker. So sign him up.
Okay.
Again, I would have loved him in the Gamblers just for the name alone. I know it's his last name and not his first name, but I would have liked it just for that alone. But anyway, I'll take it. But maybe ask me in a couple weeks and I won't even care.
Dale Warren, though. I see someone with I see some people joking here in the chat because I saw someone say IUPUI and I'm like, okay. That's in my area. I'm from Indianapolis for those that don't know. So I see folks joking here going Indiana University of Pennsylvania. And I'm like,
so I would love that. Actually, it looks like Dale Warren had some time in the CFL here though.
Okay.
Let's take a look here and what we got. So he played 1 game. It looks like why won't it say?
Oh my gosh, that is a real university. I'm so sorry. I thought that was a joke. I am not joking. Folks, I am serious. I didn't realize.
Going live. That's the whole fun of going live.
So fine. Let's do this. The city is Indiana, Pennsylvania. So
it's kind of like Florida, Miami, Ohio. Right.
Yeah. Yes, that is kind of what it is. No joke. So it is a school of about 9,300 people.
Sign this dude up then, though. I mean, sign this dude up from coming from like that's a pretty small school, making his way out onto the pros. So we're waiting on the Maulers. Okay. Let's see Maulers. But again, we've kind of noticed a trend here where we get a little bit of a break, but I think we did get a little graphic from the USFL Twitter account rounding out round 3 here. So, I mean, while we're waiting, let's just read them through. Matthew Burrell Jr. for the Bandits. Lene Maeva, I apologize, for the Stars, Mike Bell for the Generals, Marcus Baugh for the Panthers, TJ Logan Jr. for the Breakers, Malik Harris for the Gamblers, Dondre Tillman for the Birmingham Stallions, and last but not least, Dale Warren for the Maulers. 3 down, 7 rounds to go. The wait now, again, like we've seen a little bit of a break in between these, but I would say so far, maybe not any huge surprises. And I'll say this then, if we haven't seen it yet, we're probably not going to see a huge surprise. That's not to say that there's not a lot of guys that people are rooting for that we're going to see pop off of this list in the next few. But like if you were hoping for, again, that Paxton Lynch pick, rounding it out with the last pick and kind of getting that like, whoa, no way on that, like to round things off. I don't think we're going to get that tonight, but we're going to have fun with you anyway. And these guys some of these guys, quite honestly, there's going to be guys here that make it on the field that we're all going to know by the end of the season. And that is the damn truth. And that's what I think is exciting about this is you and I are going to be able to look back at this and say, man, you remember when we didn't know a lot about Dale Warren? Now I know everything about Dale Warren or anybody on this list, right?
No joke. I think I'll follow just for, at least for me now, I'm learning schools that I may have not heard in the past. A little background on me. I'm more of a professional guy. I'm less of the college football guy. So like, this is like, that's one thing that's nice with this is I get to get more invested in the college scene than I was originally thinking I would. So that to me is a lot of fun. Also speaking of players, I'm slowly getting some pieces back to like backtrack and look at some of the guys. Marcus Baugh. So that one stuck out to me. So not only for the fact, was at Ohio State, of course, big name school you got coming out there, but had a stint with the Raiders. His big claim to fame in terms of alt football, he was with the San Diego Fleet, had a few catches there, caught 13 passes for 208 yards and 2 TDs for the Fleet as well. Since then, stops with the Panthers, the football team before they were called the Commanders, and then last year with the Steelers.
So we do have our first pick of the 4th round. It came in a little bit quicker this time. Winston Dimmel, Dimel, so I apologize, fullback from Kansas State. So again, decent school there. Maybe a little bit more known for basketball probably, right?
Yeah, well, they are a Big 12 basketball, but Kansas State's a solid program. Here's what I like about this, thinking about who's coaching. Look, Kirby Wilson is a running back coach by trade. Look at what he's doing. Get it. You're invested. Now, fullback isn't as an invested a position anymore in football, but
still brings value.
Let's say this man's investing in old school smash mouth football. Getting a fullback out there, I'm expecting a lot of stuff. You're going to see strong and I formation type of things here. My hope is maybe you'll see Winston get involved a bit. Is how that's how I view this pick. It's just Kirby Wilson's background to me. I bet you that is why he did it. He would be the person to understand the value of a fullback.
Well, and I mean, explain a city that's better for a little smash mouth football than Pittsburgh, right? They were going to be loving a little roughness out there. If it fits the bill, which I assume it will, the fans are going to want that. And it seems like we're kind of heading that direction. Now the break in between the rounds was a little quicker, but we are now waiting on the Stallions. Skip Holtz taking his time, building the suspense, keeping us waiting. But I mean, we're doing pretty good here. We're only, Zach, brother, we started at, was it the draft? No, we're not even an hour into the draft.
Yeah, well, so we're an hour into our show in terms of starting it up. But yeah, like this is moving.
It's going pretty good.
And I mean, hey, it could slow down, but I mean, we were kind of hinted it was going to be like a slog type of wait through this. So we'll see.
We have you got it?
Yeah, sure. And one of them is actually related to a guy that was very much celebrated in the XFL. So you have Nathan Holly. So if you remember Nick Holly from of course the Roughnecks.
And Nathan Holly recently he was in the CFL. And
yes, he also had a stint with Miami Dolphins.
Right on. So this is a solid little pick here for the Stallions. And honestly, it does feel like a guy that's right up a Skip Holtz alley. Right now, I wonder, do we see his brother? Because I would love to see that, but I don't know what his contractual obligations are at this time.
I think a lot of folks in the chat, because I see there are plenty of guys like we were talking beginning here that are very the alt football crowd. I think if you saw Nick Holly's name scream across social, that we would have an explosion. Yeah. Having his brother go is nice. I mean, dude's had a great so far career in alt leagues, moving around. I'm assuming this is practice squad based, just based on the positioning here. Strong safety, offensive, outside linebacker, based on the listing. But it's cool to get him he gets his opportunity to be in the league and at a position where positions where there's potential rotation that might happen, especially in the linebacker department. Got to have depth. So
we have the Gamblers pick in. So Houston, here we go. Micah Abernathy from Tennessee, cornerback, coming in.
That does ring a bell.
It does to me, and I'm trying to again spot the exactly where it was, but it looks like he had some time with the. Let's see here. I want to say the Vikings, but I'm probably wrong.
XFL.
There we go.
according to his LinkedIn as well. Has also been with the Colts for a spell. That's probably where I heard him. Dallas Renegades was where he played.
Okay.
He played on the Renegades was his roster.
I love seeing that spring experience though. I love seeing that come through here. So let's see. That puts then the Breakers on the board, which I wouldn't doubt if they have their pickup now. Let's just see what we got here.
Is Fedora going to do his draft night shtick, like rapid fire, like every 2 picks?
Yeah, not this time. We're still waiting on tipping the hat, my lady Fedora over here, which God, don't punch me or kick me, I won't. Go on.
Sorry, I'm just saying, how has no one made that meme mock-up with putting his face on that with the fedora hat? I'm waiting on it. Someone should do that. I would
do it, but I don't want him to punch me. I know there's probably a chance I'm going to meet him one day, and he's going to be like, you're the guy that's always making fun of my name, tipping my hat, my lady style. I'm like, well, dude, and your anime swords. Don't forget that. I feel like I'm digging a hole here. So on that note, he's coming in. Fedora's coming in with a solid pick here. Sharif Miller, Penn State defensive end.
Sharif Miller, Penn State, huh?
Kept us waiting. Defensive end. So, yep, we're going to see a lot of this tonight. But let's see here. And that will put up the Panthers up next, which I would say they're doing – the Panthers so far, if I were to grade the guys that we've seen come through, are probably making the best picks, maybe second to Skip Holtz right now. I think the Stallions have been making some solid picks here as well. But go on.
And we do have a pick from the Panthers in this. Pick number 29, round 4. Sean Williams from Navy, free safety and outside linebacker.
Filling the squads tonight. I mean, as expected.
In the military school.
As expected. But I like the military schools. I mean, Army versus Navy, that's a fun game to watch in itself. And there was a couple guys in the XFL that played. I can't remember the guy's name, but he ended up balling out in the XFL, and he played for Navy as well. I don't know if they played at the same time or whatever. But again, this is probably going to be filling one of those practice squad spaces as well, which puts the Generals on the board. So we'll see what they got. See if Mr. Riley is going to come in hot and fast, round this bad boy up. And it looks like he did. Yeah. You want to announce this one here? Did.
I'll do the first one for the Stars, and you can get the Bandits if you want to do it that way. So for the Stars, you got Amani Dennis from Carthage.
Did we announce the Generals pick? Did we announce Paris Ford's safety? I just don't want to leave anyone hanging here.
Well, then there you go. For some reason, it listed out of order.
No,
you're
Twitter. Good. You're good. I just want to make sure that we don't miss anyone. Just, you know how it goes. Amani Dennis, though. What position again? I apologize.
That'd be cornerback.
All right. And then we have the Bandits, you say, as well. That one's already up? Let's see.
Yes, Keith Mumphrey, Michigan State receiver.
I know the name right there.
That is definitely, yes.
All right.
Name's very familiar.
I like the pick. And again, I am the worst sports fan, Zach. I don't know how to explain it. I'm a Wolverines fan, but I respect MSU as well. I mean, if it's MSU versus somebody that I don't really care about, of course, I'm going to root for Michigan, right? Michigan State, at least in this case.
Well, Mumphrey's another guy, much like Westbrook's earlier, has actually been around a bit. Like he's pushing 30 right now. Not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just telling you that, in terms of experience, that's another person. So main stints that are listed here, you have the Houston Texans that are put down. And then his other one, Dallas Renegades and the Battlehawks. He had a split time between the two. He had been traded from the Renegades to the Battlehawks at that time. And then that's kind of his last markings I've got here. So a little XFL time, has had NFL stints, came out of Michigan State in 2015, round 5, pick 175 in the NFL draft.
Quite honestly, this is a dude that I think we might see on the field this year. And having a dude like Teamu throwing the ball, it gives you another guy, another receiver with a lot of experience, like you mentioned. I think we might see that happen. I think this might be one of those names to look out for. Again, as a Michigander, if you will, the name instantly I said, that's Michigan State. And I felt like he may play for the XFL as well, but instantly, like the college one, that was like when I heard Connor Cook with the Roughnecks, and we never got to see him play, but I was so hype about that. And then we got PJ Walker, and that was hype too,
It gotta be.
We were spoiled. We were spoiled.
Yeah.
And it's a shame. The one time I had a good team, God, the illness that we shall not name took it all away from me. Even though it was not a lock that they would have won that championship. Playoffs are a tricky, tricky thing. And I mean, when it's not a series, when it's all down to one game, if you're having your worst, it seems like that's when you have your worst game, right? And I mean, a lot of things could have lined up. I mean, the Wildcats especially were really gearing up, and they got kind of pooped out of redeeming their season a little bit. But
that's fair. Wow, we're already down four
rounds
because Mumphrey was the end of round 4.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a quick break then, if you don't mind. Can you cover this real quick and just banter with these crowds? Let me turn on the Zach cam. I'll really only just be a minute here, though.
I'll keep the people.
I ran out of my Kroger purified water.
Oh, that's right. That's right. gotta have my brand. Meanwhile, I'm sipping my Diet Pepsi. I had a joke for. I don't know why. I had a joke for mug root beer because I discovered the mug moment memes. I don't know if any of you know that. If not, it's fine. But for some reason, I was like, when one of these picks comes up, I was just gonna say this is a certified mug moment. I've been wanting to say that all night. My brother's down here. When we room together, and he's like, get out of my play, get out of here. I swear to God. So, and I'll tell you. Let's see here. Looking at the chat, what can I give in terms of answering a question? I see Benjamin Turek has a question. Who is my favorite pick tonight? Well, Ben, I'm going to tell you, I am very much partial to, at least if we're talking about, ones that fit in well, that I think, they complement the organization or they complement what the coach wants to do. I am a fan of course, of Mr. TJ Logan, just for a little bit of running back depth. Otherwise, Kirby Wilson, he's very much very much the running back by trade type of coach. So I'm going to be sticking with that as my other option. I liked the pickup of course, their own fullback, a little bit of smash mouth football. So definitely going to be giving my own shout outs there, as I really like the pickup. Winston Demel, I like that choice just for the fact that they are going to be committing to holding down that running game and giving a little bit of support there. Again, Kirby Wilson, that's his background, running backs coach. What's valuable to a running back? Getting more blockers, getting more alleys opened up, getting some potential better choices for them to pick and choose where their lanes are. That's why I like this. I think fullbacks are undervalued anyway. So why not? It's cool to see a fullback getting invested in. I'm assuming that's what this is for. That's why I'm assuming it is. And yes, I swore, and you are right, I did see a pick fly across the screen, so I am going to get that up. Thank you very much, Chris McDonald, for pointing out that there are picks here. Let me get it. And actually, we have a few that are coming up. So I got a few I got to list off. Let me get this in order, because one of them's a punter that we're getting. And I know some teams basically passed on some of the special teams choices. So let's see here. So round 5, we are in. Oh, hey, and the ref's back in time.
Hey, sign us up. Look at that.
One of them's a punter.
Ooh, all right. Well, we had a couple teams that didn't get punters, so.
That's right, and I did mention that. So with pick number 33 in round 5, you have, I'm going to say, Artavius Lynn from TCU. And as you can see in the profile picture, he did play for a bit for the Dallas Cowboys. And then Brock Miller, Southern Utah, punter that was with the Rams for a good time. So
which school did he go to?
Southern Utah.
Okay. All right. The name sounds familiar, but I might have been, I was probably thinking of Brock Osweiler. I'm not going to lie.
No, not Osweiler. No. That would be quite the career shift.
Yeah. I got tired of throwing the ball. I'm just going to kick it from now on.
Of course.
Got the Panthers up next.
No, I was good. Yes, that is right. Yeah. So Brock Miller here, just looking back, was picked up originally with the 49ers, it looks like. But as you can see, had a spell there with, of course, the St. Louis, with, of course, the Rams in LA. And then he also, this is where people will stick out the most, he was the Dragons punter. So that is also where you might be like, oh, hey, that's
probably why it does ring a bell more than anything. Okay, sign him up. Yeah. Well, let's see what the Panthers do. Like I said, Jeff Fisher seems like he's on a roll. I've appreciated his efforts in the inaugural draft, and so far, he's been making some good ones.
And we got it now. Our buddy David is highlighting these picks again, and that has been a massive help. So the Panthers, my Panthers, your possible Panthers.
Yeah, we'll see.
Investing in running back. So they've had only Big Ten running backs. They're getting a Pac-12 guy. Cameron Scarlett from Stanford is picked up. 5th round, number 35 overall for the.
And that's another name. Again, it sounds familiar. I'm not exactly where it's from. It might just be from going online, looking at people in the draft. So it might be one of those guys, but it could be. Let's see here. I mean, Stanford, you got to be smart to get into these schools, and that helps on the field. I mean, it really does. It looks like he spent some time in, maybe not. Let's see here. We have some CFL experience, possibly.
So you got Scarlett there. 2020 was his draft year.
He went into the Argonauts, played one game, 2021, 57 yards, no touchdowns, 10 carries. So, I mean, that's not bad. I mean, he only got one game under his belt, but, I mean, averaging 5.7 yards a carry. I mean, sometimes you need that, I mean, especially at the goal line. I mean, you look at, I can't think of what his name was in the AAF. That dude killed it. And he had like the lowest amount of yards in the league, but he had so many touchdowns.
And I'm seeing Chris mention it, and I see David mention it, and I'm happy to see this one too. Stefan, you want to list this off? It's another kicker, or it's another special teams guy. Kicker, though.
We got Tampa Bay. Let me pull
Tampa
him
Bay.
up here. Tyler Rousseff, Boise
Yes.
State kicker. And again, he's very supportive. I know he follows us on social media. And so this is a name that I really love to see. And I think we're going to see a couple kickers, if you will, that are definitely familiar from our times in the various spring leagues, especially on the kicking and the punting side, because they definitely went light the last time around. But this is a solid pick.
Defenders fans will be happy. That's the main shtick you're going to get.
And I mean, Tampa Bay's building up quite a squad of guys that spring league fans will remember. I mean, you got Te'amu, you got Bruno Reagan, now you got Tyler Rousseff. I mean, sign them up over there. They're doing well for themselves. And
they're coming in quick now. Got another one.
Okay,
too.
so we have the Maulers up next here. Let's take a look and see who we got. It is Malcolm Elmore from Central Methodist. Another split here, safety and cornerback. And then you said we had another pick in as well?
Nope, that was the main.
Good,
that was
good.
the one I was
Very
highlighting
good.
for you.
But they are coming in quick. We only have 3 more picks, right, of the 5th round, and then we're halfway through this bad boy. And you know what? I think what we'll do, we'll announce the winner after the 5th round, after the 6th round, and we'll give everybody one more chance. So if you don't know, we're giving out one of these hats today. You can either get a Bandits, Stars, or Breakers hat from our sponsor, Royal Retros. Again, if you want 10% off, use code USFL Podcast. We're giving out one of these today. All you got to do is make sure you follow us, like the thing, click the bell, build some morale, and share the video on Facebook and Twitter. We are verifying, but you got one more round, a little bit over a round to get that done, and then we're picking a winner. And you're going to need to verify that you did all those things. But you could be the lucky winner of one of these flipping hats. The other 2 we're giving out at Spring Stock April 16th. Sign you up there.
Get in on this, guys. Yeah, because we will definitely send that in. And again, they're great hats. Like I mean, I love the designs there. You know, I mean, they're of course the OGs, but I mean, there's a reason that people love them so damn much.
No, they are good quality. Like I said, I've just taken a look at those hats when they came through the mail the other day, and I was, man, these are nice quality. These are like pro hats, and I mean, Royal Retros. I love supporting kind of they're not small by any means, but I like supporting. It's kind of like supporting like a local business, even though they're not local, if that makes sense. You know, so. I think you'll like the quality, but if you did want to check out any of their gear, they got all sorts of cool stuff over at their website, and might as well save yourself a couple bucks.
Let's see, SPHL Rando, and I know who you are from our Discord. He's asking, do we have to share on Facebook? You can if you want. That'll help verify. And yes, William Brown, I got notifications that there are 2 more picks in, so we will get those right now.
Okay, so we got the Breakers, Ashari Crosswell, Arizona State safety. Coming over for the Breakers here. A good old Tucson. Tucson's where Arizona State is. Fun little city. I'll tell you this. There's a lot of fun bars out there. And, I mean, people do still like to race their cars on the streets. It's kind of really is the Wild West out in Tucson a little bit. But then you said the Gamblers have a pick as well, right?
Yes. So actually there's been now 3 that have come in.
You want to get the Gamblers? Or you want me to get this one?
No, I'll get it here. I just trying to get my bases in order. So the Gamblers picking up Devla Wally from Arkansas, running back.
Build up that running game over there.
And then the Stallions for the 40th pick to cap off the first 5 rounds. Another running back, Jordan Chun from Troy.
There we go. Starting to get some of these building up the running games. Like I said, I fully expect to see a decent amount of running backs, tight ends, and offensive and defensive line today for sure. I feel like that's the big one. But we kind of saw a lot of them get that out right away. We saw a lot of those positions go. They're like, okay, let's fill these spots. Now we're starting to expand a little bit, but now we are officially halfway through this bad boy. We're halfway through this draft. I mean, time's flying. They're keeping they're keeping pretty good time. We're only an hour and 15 minutes into the event. We're halfway through. So, like you said, it seemed like they wanted to keep it around 2.5 to 3 hours. Well, we're on track. We're on track. I mean, we've seen so far a pretty steady pace. Like I said, we get a little break in between each round. We might get a coach or two that maybe one of their guys got picked up and they have to readjust. But it seems like then the rest of the coaches, more or less, they're ready to go. Bing, bang, boom. And pretty good pace, pretty good fun. We're having a good time. I mean, just hanging out with the chat here is fun in itself. While we're waiting for the next round halfway through, I'll ask the question again. Who's your favorite pick so far? And, I mean, if any of the guys that you wanted to get picked haven't gotten picked or have got picked, who's the new guys? Who's some more guys that you'd like to see get picked up here as well? But, I mean, overall, a good mix. We're seeing small school guys, big school guys, some guys with a good breadth of experience, some guys that are a little bit younger coming into the game. So, I mean, all in all, this is exactly what leagues like the USFL are built for, is to give these guys an opportunity, get some more film, get some more playing time. And right now we're seeing the guys that fit that bill come right on in. And I kind of love it. I mean, quite honestly, at the end of the day, some of these guys are going to have an NFT at the end of the year, and I'm going to own it. And I'm going to be all about it. I can't have them sign it, man. But I can maybe have, you know what I'll do is I'll get one of those digital picture frames, load my NFT to the digital picture frame, and I can have them sign that. Oh, here's an idea. Yeah. I'll take my NFTs and make it into a collage and then put it on my digital picture frame. And then I could have multiple players sign their NFTs. Now there we go. Oh. I'm going to make this happen. I'm telling you, by that championship game, I'm going to own some. I'm going to get my NFTs signed for the show. It's going to be fun.
Jesus.
This is what happens. I brought out the unofficial sponsor of the show, Bud Light, and already I'm talking about getting NFT signs.
Oh, my God. Tell you what, while we're waiting for this next round, I'm looking up the last two running back pickups here. So Jordan Shun, Troy, actually some good accolades from the Sun Belt. 2016 was first team all Sun Belt. 2017, second team all Sun Belt. Had a 2-year stint with the Dallas Cowboys, and most recently was with the New York Giants last season. In terms of I want to say Whaley. I said Wally earlier. I'm like, no, that's not how you say it. Nonetheless, he comes from Arkansas. His last stint on a team is actually over in Germany.
Oh, really?
He was in the GFL for the Dresden Monarchs. And you German Football League fans, that is one of the better teams in the league. Remember, international is a pathway. It's a little harder for Americans because there, of course, are the rules, much like Canada, where there are import rules. But it is, in terms of experience, in terms of getting an adventure in your life, and in terms of places where they do get you a place to play, people don't have to shy away from those. Germany is one of the best countries for football in terms of outside the U.S. You have Canada and the U.S. that are really kind of the top two. Japan, funny enough, is like arguably number 3. I learned that a lot last year from a buddy of the show, Greg James. And Germany's right up there too, along with Austria, funny enough.
Well, Germany, and they're playing the first NFL game in Germany this year as well. So, I mean,
that's right.
That can only be good things for ELF, right? They're probably like, oh, this is going to be great build. Because realistically, there's a lot of people that support football over in Europe. There's a lot of people that just aren't accustomed to the game, but once you have a local team, that's sometimes just the incentive you need to get into something. And speaking of which, when does ELF start? When do they kick off?
That is going to be in June. I originally said earlier, but it is June. They're going to start kickoffs. They start a little later, but yeah, you'll see those guys in June. And actually, we just got our next pick, according to, if I am understanding. Oh, no. Oh, never mind. It's Philadelphia being cheeky. So I'm following up. If you haven't yet, I'm checking out the USFL Discord. They do updates for the news. So that's why I'm like responding like this. Philadelphia posted one retweet and we'll draft another great player.
Well, it's coming up
Teams
soon. They're having fun.
here.
Well, I like to see the social teams having fun. Speaking of which, we haven't said it tonight. Everybody should be out over there on Twitter and everything, liking, sharing all of the official USFL posts and the team posts. I mean, those social teams they're doing a hell of a job keeping everybody updated. Quite honestly, we couldn't do this stream if it wasn't for them giving us the information to share with you, which, I mean, you could get that from social media too, but hey, it's a little bit more fun to banter with you guys. But make sure you guys are supporting them because, like I said, they're doing a bang-up job. This is fast-paced stuff. I mean, these picks aren't known. So, I mean, when they get the pick, they're editing these images, adding in the names. And, I mean, throughout the inaugural draft and this one, I think we only saw 2 mishaps, one typo and one where it didn't get posted. But, I mean, through all these rounds to only have minor mistakes, sign them up. Sign them up.
I know I definitely have been wanting to practice better on doing graphics and all that, and I cannot fathom doing that on the fly so fast. I'm just saying. I'm very impressed. Shout out to Paul Palmer for posting the ELF kickoff date. You know, I said it was June. Specifically, Paul has June 4th. So if you guys are interested in that, check out the league. Just look up European League of Football. Check out their website. They're a legitimate league. Like I know it's across the pond. It's not right there. A lot of them are foreign players, but it's good football.
It surprised me.
If I'm going to shout out a league right now, it's a good football league.
It surprised me last year. I'll tell you what. I didn't have a lot of expectations. I didn't know what to expect, really. And quite honestly, going into the season, it was one where there was a lot of, I don't want to say negative press, but it felt like the general sentiment online was very negative. But after week 1, people said, well, okay, this is good football. It's just like every other good alternative football league. And I mean, they didn't provide all the games in English, but I think we'll see more of that this year. We'll see.
Well, hell, go check out if you want a little sampler or the best possibility of what this league has to offer. Go check out the championship game. Like that alone. It was I said it then because they played the championship game early in the NFL season, like right in the same day, and I said, and I'll quote myself on this, it was arguably one of, if not the best football game played that day in a slew of NFL games. It was, the finish was great. It was down to the wire, score for score, last few minutes. You know, if you want a good like primer, 2 teams that'll also be good this year, which are the Hamburg Sea Devils and the Frankfurt Galaxy. That's the game you'll want to check out. You know, they retained a lot of their guys are going to be good again this year. Especially if if you're like a footballaholic and you just want that many streams, or if you have a morning game, you're like, I can't wait for the USFL game. Let me watch, as I'm waiting at the end of the season, let me watch this early morning ELF game that I bought for like $9 on pay-per-view.
Some of these dudes were hardcore that were into it. They were watching it live, man. There were some of these games they were on. Yeah. They were on, depending on how you look at it, very late or very early.
No joke. No freaking joke. And we got our 6th round is kicking off.
Let's see who we got. Sage.
Yes. You want to say it?
I'll try. Sage Surratt from Wake Forest, tight end, coming in for the first pick of the 6th round for the Birmingham Stallions.
Sage Surratt from Wake Forest, you say?
It is.
Let's see what we got here from Mr. Surratt. From the looks of things, he's pretty new. He was undrafted just last year. So he stopped at the Detroit with the Lions for a real quick time. He's basically taking his chances, going right in with
what? I love to see it. I mean, quite honestly, this is probably the best opportunity for him. It might be the best opportunity to get some quicker playing time, right? Get that experience.
I mean, 2019 first team all ACC as well. So, I mean, it looks like somebody that you're, redshirted at the time. Let's see here. He was also named the Fred Biletnikoff Award winner, which is America's top college football receiver at one point.
Sign him up. Almost said a bad word, but I caught myself.
Or sorry, watch list. I have to clarify. Watch list. Nonetheless, the man has interest. Looks like somebody that I think his college career didn't fully go the ending of it didn't go fully where he wanted, taking his chances to go and get some film, possibly adding depth on the Stallions. And he'll be joining Carrie Angeline, NC State, who is on that roster for the Stallions as well at the main tight end spot.
Sometimes it's these young guys that come in that those are the ones that really, again, they have the most in it to make a name for themselves coming in young, right? Because quite honestly, they have a whole long time to build their career, but they can also be surprising. I mean, again, looking at the XFL, I say that a lot, but Kenny Robinson, I mean, he came in early, man, and he played pretty dang solid. So, I mean, I could see something like this happening here.
You know who gives me a vote of confidence for Mr. Surratt here? So if you're seeing in the chat, folks, Inside the Walls podcast, that's my co-host Jim posting right now. The man is a big Florida State Seminoles fan. If you are seeing a man talk about an ACC rival and a player on there that's saying that guy ripped me, hey, there is potential there. Trust me. Jim will know. He very much
he'll know,
and
he'll let you know.
Yes. I think we got another pick in. I saw. Is that correct?
So that would be the Gamblers. It doesn't look like it yet. At least if
I misfired.
But we're waiting.
I must have misfired.
We're officially over halfway through this. Kevin Sumlin keeping the suspense going, letting the party keep going. But I mean, like I said, other than the little breaks here and there between rounds and a couple coaches taking a little bit of time or taking that full time, we're getting pretty rapid results on this. Like I said, I didn't know really what to expect as far as timing, but the fact that we wrapped up half of this in an hour and 15, man, we're definitely getting the pace going here.
They are moving tonight. I think we had people overestimate how much this would take, and now we have
we go.
Now we've got the pick. I misread the Discord notification. You want to read this? Is your Gamblers?
Gamblers sign us up. Tucker Addington, again, local guy going to Houston. Sam Houston State, long snapper. There we go.
And if we're checking over this, it is indeed the Gamblers did pass on a long snapper back in the original draft. So this is a necessity that they were needing. Probably we're looking for a little more value, is my guess, with someone in crew. So this is to fill that void. I see you already got in the chat. Ooh, long snappers. Like, well,
you got to have them.
You don't have to. Someone's got to do it.
We could see some funny. We saw some funny situations in the spring league. So, I mean, anything's possible, but it's good to have one.
Extra skill. Hey, you know what? If you don't pick one up, someone can train, and then they can get that as a spot, because good long snappers can have you can have a long career if you are a damn good ball player at just throwing the ball back for somebody.
Accuracy. That's a big thing, man. I mean, it's so funny, right? You talk to these guys that all they do is watch football, and they should have done this, they should have done that. And yeah, in some cases they're right, but it's different, man. And even different from coaching to playing, like doing it. There's so many different aspects. A slippery ball, the type of, is it real turf, AstroTurf, right? In a dome outside. There's so many elements to these games that, I mean, sure, there's some instances where if it happens all year, throughout the year, you're like, oh, okay. But, I mean, even then, the worst football player would beat me at anything football related. Like, and I'm not even talking about these guys. I'm talking about, like, honestly, the worst high school football player would probably beat me at anything football related, quite honestly. That's just the God honest truth.
I'll tell you a good story. So I played center in high school. That was my position. And I also did long snapping. So I did both of them. I'll tell you, there's one thing that happened every game. I always would have a snap infraction, one a game. It was guaranteed. The other part of it is I completely relate to the weather condition part. There's an instance, one rain game. I think we were playing in Gary, Indiana, one of those high schools. Again, I'm actually from Northwest Indiana originally, before Indianapolis. Long story short, rain game, muddy field is all God. The ball, I snap it. The mud digs in, stops the ball. I lose the grip. and it sits right under me. It was a shotgun snap, and the thing just sat there. That one killed me. Oh, and back to the reality. We got two more picks.
So we got Breakers up first. Which one do you want, Breakers or Maulers?
You know what? I'll go with the Maulers. You're already leading in with the Breakers.
All right, so we got the Breakers here. E.J. Bibbs from Iowa State. Another split here. Tight end fullback coming in probably for the practice squad like you mentioned. Then Pittsburgh Maulers. Who we got up here?
And my patience pays off because now we got Pittsburgh. We also got Tampa Bay. Right. Let's see. So Abdul Beecham is going to Pittsburgh, listed as an offensive guard and offensive center. So that is definitely practice squad-esque material if I were to say so in terms of the listing position. Similar deal goes for here with the Bandits. Stephen Griffin from North Carolina State. And Beecham was from Kansas State, by the way. Wanted to list off the school. And that's safety and cornerback for Stephen Griffin.
All right.
So that's someone that also comes off as practice squad-esque of position. And the Panthers now have another pick in.
Let's see.
That I am seeing.
Here, you want to pull that one up real quick? I'm having trouble on my end. Sorry.
Yeah, I got it right here. And they're building tight end depth essentially with this. Connor Davis from Stony Brook, tight end.
Stony Brook.
Will be the 46th pick in the 6th round.
All right. Picking up that pace. Again, we had the Breaker. It was not the Breakers, but we had, it was the Breakers kind of took their time, but then we got two quick ones coming right back to back there, which has kind of been the trend so far tonight.
Well, here you want to talk about at least looking at the philosophies type of deal. So a lot of people were assuming, Jeff Fisher's going to do old school football. Remember, Fisher picked up 2 tight ends already, Joseph Magnifico and LaMichael Petway. Getting that third one in, that's that is going to be some heavy packages, goal line, short yardage, single back. That is exactly what this is screaming right now. Extra muscle.
Which I love to see it. I mean, there is something to having like that 4 tight ends on the field at the same time, right? Like, I mean, even looking at the lineup, sometimes you're like, whoa, that's some beef, right?
Yes,
something seems out of place here.
Right. And Jesus, they keep on coming. I've already got 2 more since we've been talking.
So let's see. We got the Generals up next. Let's see who we got. Darius Vicker from Towson, I'm assuming, running back. Might be Towson.
I think it's Towson.
Yeah.
And actually that one is, I believe that's very familiar. I'm pretty sure he was on the Guardians, if I am remembering this right. The other pickup that was with the Stars earlier is receiver Chris Rowland, Tennessee State.
And you were correct.
And that was the end of the 6th round.
And you were correct. Darius Vicker was with the Guardians.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say that sounded very familiar. He was their starting running back, had some solid games for them with the Guardians at that time. Had a decent following as one of the top more higher end guys in the league. And actually Rowland would end the 6th round. He was 48th pick from Tennessee State. So that
for sure. And so beyond the Guardians, so he spent some time with the Saints, the Cardinals, but the Hamilton Tiger Cats of the CFL. So we're seeing a good little mix of experience here. And I mean, that's nothing but good. So I think it's time to announce our winner here. So just give me 2 seconds to run the little thingy here and I will get you all set.
You do that. I will list off Rowland here. Rowland is also recently undrafted. Only 2020 he came out. Was with the Atlanta Falcons for the last 2 years and then did a short stint with the Tennessee Titans. So quick time. He won the Deacon Jones Trophy, which, if I'm reading this off correctly, Annual Player of the Year award given to the most outstanding all-around collegiate All-American Player of the Year among teams of historically black college universities. So yeah, HBCU is where this is coming from.
Very nice. Very nice. Give me 1 more minute. I screwed everything up and closed it and reopen it and do all this again here.
I mean, while you're doing that too, I can also list off our interview.
Oh yeah, do that while I find the winner. So if you guys haven't been paying attention, we have a very special interview dropping tomorrow.
Yes, we do. I was very happy we got this done. But I had the pleasure to sit down this week with starting Generals quarterback Ben Holmes. He will be one of our next interview part of our series. We're going to release that tomorrow, as instead of our normal podcast. Obviously, we're doing the main one right now. This is episode 10,
baby.
So we're going to release that Ben Holmes interview tomorrow, same time as we do with our main show. That'll be 9:00 in the a.m. Eastern time. But great talk. I had a wonderful conversation with him. His backstory and follow-up into being a now professional football player is fascinating. Really, if you want to check out someone that has been through a lot and has shown that even coming from smaller beginnings can lead to something special, Ben's the guy. Definitely, I cannot say enough how happy I was to get a conversation with him. You should check that out. That'll be tomorrow on the YouTube page.
So that'll be dropping when the show normally drops, at 9 a.m. Eastern on YouTube. But of course, if you want to re-listen to this, we're going to drop this on the audio platform tomorrow as well. And so for all the audio folks, sorry you missed out live, but you get to listen to us after the fact and all the banter in between. And I'll probably even drop the interview on our audio platform as well. Maybe not tomorrow, but to spread it out sometime through the weekend, because it is going to be a good one. But we do have the winner here. So Benjamin Turek, Turek, you are the lucky winner of one of the 3 hats, either the Bandits, the Stars, or the Breakers. Here's what you need to do.
Hey-o.
DM us over on Twitter, DM us on Facebook, or even just email us at mailbag@usflcast.com. Send us the proof that you followed, you hit the bell, and you shared, and we'll get back. We'll send you your stuff as soon as possible. But you're the lucky winner. Sign you up, and thanks for joining us. Thanks for supporting as well. But it sounds like we might have our first pick in of the 7th round, which that is, I mean, I don't know if there's any more perfect timing than that, but let me just verify here. We have the Gamblers coming in first. You have Eric Brown from Merrimack. Offensive guard.
More depth. That's what all I can tell you. Getting a bit more depth added in Merrimack.
I know.
I know I've been having some fun with doing the research on the schools. I know I've heard Merrimack College.
I want to say it's Midwest, but I could be completely wrong, and it could be like Northwest or like Southeast. Right.
So yeah, a little rundown of Merrimack. It is North Andover, Massachusetts.
Okay, so yeah, I was completely wrong. It's way northeast.
The Merrimack Warriors. That's what we got. That's the mascot.
Exciting. So let's see. So that was the Gamblers coming in first. So that puts us at the Breakers. Let's see how fast they roll into these here. We've seen Fedora kind of take his time on a couple of these picks. But maybe we got maybe you got that out of the way. Let's see. Nope, not yet. Still waiting on the Breakers.
You know, here's a question here, because I imagine with practice squad, most practice squads have at least one QB. Mm-hmm. So I've seen some people, they're asking, like, you know, they're saying Luis Perez should be in one of these leagues, or someone else. We've seen Brandon Silvers. I want to hear from you. What round do you think you see a QB go for the practice squad setups? Because now we're in round 7.
Well, honestly, I thought we would have seen it to kick things off. Right. But so I don't know if we do see them, but we could. I mean, right. Realistically, these guys, and imagine this too. The coaches, they might not know all the other coaches' strategy, but they are in the same room. They're bantering with these guys. And if they have a good idea of what their strategy is, okay, they're going to wait till the end to get their quarterbacks. Well, I might as well wait till the end to get mine too. So we could see that situation play out. That being said, I would have imagined that we might see something like that. But again, it is a practice squad situation. So I don't know. Now, I'm curious. What are you thinking on that?
I mean, I would think you at least would suspect the last 2 rounds. I would say that goes. You know, I think in terms of like quarterback as well, I'm not shocked, because there's depth positions you got to fill with this. Like we've been talking, line spots, maybe possibly, you know, secondary. Sure, like tight ends, especially if you were light on the tight end front, why not? But I think like practice squads, you got to get a QB to at least mimic what you're doing. So it's going to come up.
Now we do have another long snapper going here.
Yeah,
Tucker Bernard, San Diego State long snapper, going over to the Breakers here, putting the Maulers up on the board now. But it's good to see. I'm glad to see those positions are starting to get filled. So So I would say once you start seeing the long snappers, though, they probably do have a lot of those other positions filled or kind of set. So you might be onto something where we might see one of those quarterbacks sneak through in this last 2 rounds, kind of seeing that. Because, I mean, again, if you're at the long snapper, you might be ready to go to start just getting those experimental picks.
Right, and more Central's coming. So the Maulers just had their set round 7 pick. I'm going to say this. I know Ramiz Ahmed, Nevada.
That's how I would have said it as well. I think you're on there. But we apologize for anybody if you're listening and you know the proper name. We apologize, but that's just like I said earlier. I can barely say my own name sometimes.
So yeah, Maulers. That was one position that was passed up by Kirby Smart. For some compensatories. That's another one filled in, much like I was about to say before that Ahmed was picked up for the Breakers. Again, Fedora passed up on a long snapper. Essential. And this was expected. You had a few teams that needed those special teams wrapped up and just picked up as needed. So there's where you go with it. And now we're getting a few more. And I think even so, like for the Maulers, like I think it's, again, it depends on the importance of what your scheme is. So, now if it's like, now's the time to grab it, why not? You're getting later into the supplemental draft anyway. So now is the time to say, okay, we need to lock down the pieces that are must-haves that are to run
right
team.
On. But we do have the Stallions pick in here. We have Marlon Williams, Central Florida wide receiver, coming in for the Stallions, putting the Stars up next, which I don't. Oh, they did. They have theirs in as well.
Yeah, they just dropped it.
You want to pull that one up?
Yeah, Gabriel. Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah, I was going to say Gabriel. I'm like, no, Gabriel Sewell Jr., inside linebacker from Nevada. That'll be the second to last pick of the 7th round.
We really are flying today and having a good time while doing it. I mean, again, I'm so appreciative that the USFL is at least doing this so we have the opportunity to do what we're doing here. Because, I mean, quite honestly, they could have just put out a list tomorrow. But they're using that social media strength, getting that word out there. And, I mean, there ain't no complaints there.
No, not at all. No, thank you. Well, let's see. So Marlon Williams, I wanted to check up on his. He was very recently out. Was 2020 was his last season. His senior year. 1,000 yards receiving on 71 catches, 10 touchdowns. And that's in a college season.
Yeah.
Think about that. And I mean, UCF's no slouch in recent years. Yes, they had a down year last year, but that's a program that has, they've gotten strong enough to where they can move up to the Big 12 and no one's batting an eye. Explosive offenses too, that come from that side. Nice depth position grab.
So what do we got next then? We have the Bandits up next. We're seeing, like I said, we're really kind of seeing the finalization. We're down to just about 2 rounds and 3 picks. So we're getting there. And like I know I've said this a million times, but I am very amazed at how quickly and smooth everything is going tonight. I mean, other than the very beginning, and I might listen to this later and say, oh boy, was I very wrong making that statement. I'd say the stream's going pretty smooth. I mean, like I said, right in the beginning, I did mute myself, and then I blasted everyone in the ears. But other than that, I'd say we've been doing pretty good tonight. Now, power, stay on. Don't do anything crazy. But things are going good. Things are going all right. This is good prep for a spring stock, I'll tell you that. I need as much time trying to break things as possible.
Well, right. I mean, remember, we're doing that. Now, credit, spring stock Waka will have people that we can spread that out, which we're working that out right now. But still, I mean, hey, 4-hour live broadcast, that you have to trust me, I'm thinking the same thing. Like, we've had these conversations off air too. Like, hey, that's a challenge, that's going to be its own. Plus someone's got to man that grill.
Oh yeah.
Got to give the hot dogs and the burgers, right? Like, I don't know. I think Jim's been, if he's still in the chat, I know he's been very much like, I'll man the grill.
Hey, I won't complain there. I'll say this though. Oh, never mind. I had a point about spring stock, but then I lost. You know me, Zach. I'm always, oh no, here it is. It always comes back to me though. I was thinking of a fun conversation that we could all have at Spring Stock as we bring in the guests. So I'm at least going to preface the topic now. After we name this pick from the Tampa Bay Bandits,
yes,
Rennell Hall, cornerback for the Tampa Bay Bandits, coming in for the 54th pick of the 54th pick total in the 7th round of the supplemental draft here. And this is another name. Again, it might just be because I'm always researching different players online, but the name definitely sounds familiar. I know I've come across it at some point, either when kind of doing my own scouting on who's on in the player pool and looking at contracts. But let's see. I want to say that it's probably a little bit more familiar than that. Buccaneers, Browns, Falcons, Orlando Apollos. Oh, right up your alley, Massachusetts Pirates. We got the Blue Bombers, and then the Vikings. So that's probably where I remember them from.
Ooh, and we have an FCF guy that just got
very
picked
nice.
I'm not even joking. I know we talked about the league earlier, but there were good players in there. Joseph Putu from Florida getting picked up with the 55th pick.
Going over to the Panthers here. Good.
Yes.
And again, which team do you remember which team he played for? But wait, it switched up. That's right. I forgot. The FCF is weird. Doesn't the roster change every week?
They do, but he had played on the now defunct FCF Wild Aces, my team.
Well, good. So, I'm glad he's moving over to what might be the championship team here. Who knows?
Right. No, good for him. That's nice to see someone get that opportunity. That league, I mean, as much as it talk about what you want, players did get a chance, and it's another avenue they could have gone. The Generals just got another pick. Looks like this one will be more of a looks like we're going to have a practice squad member here as well in terms of versatility. At this point, it's for the most part, it could be fully practice squad. Majority have been, if we're talking about the roster structure. Robert Myers, Tennessee State, another HBCU pickup, listed as an offensive guard and offensive tackle going to the Generals.
All right. So then that puts up the Generals. Oh, yeah. Well, that's the end of the 7th round. So 2 rounds left. Generals up next. So that means we'll get a little bit of a break here. So back to what I was saying. I was thinking of I'm trying to think of fun discussion topics that we can use at Spring Stock as we bring different people up. And one of them, and I figured this will at least get the conversation started now. I don't want us to give our opinions yet, but at least get it in your head.
Okay.
If each USFL team players, if every team was comprised of players that were what the team is named after, who would win? So like a gambler, a team of gamblers playing a team of Panthers, or a general versus a stallion. So again, just do it over, because I have so many angles on this that I think are probably ridiculous when it comes to some.
Well, so what do you define as a gambler? Like, does gambler have a sidearm? Like, we're talking.
Yeah, he's got a big curly
mustache,
a cowboy hat. He probably flips over an old wooden bar table before he gets on the field. And yeah, he's like, you can, high noon ya. But at the same time, Panthers got claw. Well, again, now we're getting into the weeds. That's what I was saying. But this is going to be a fun conversation. Yeah, but I think that's where the conversation will lead us to the winner. There's no absolutes.
I was going to say, if it's about a game, if you're talking like a gambler versus a Panther in terms of just those two, I think that if it's a modern day guy at a casino, you're going to see the Panther slaughter the dude with the chips. If it's an old West guy, even draw, because it depends on how good the shot is, how quick his reflexes are. There's a lot of variables there compared to a pack of Panthers showing up. I see someone in the chat going, the breaker would easily win, which all that is a big tidal wave.
Would it though? See, to me, the wild card is this. I figured, screw it. Let's have the conversation now. We'll do it again at Spring Stock because we'll get everyone else's views. To me, a breaker, the big wave is not big enough to put out a star. But here's the kicker. Yeah. Can a star do anything, manage a football enough to score? Right? That's like the big conundrum, because if they can't, like at the end of the day, the star should win because it would incinerate everybody. The planet would be ash and lava. But it has, like, unless the force from the star itself forced the ball into the end zone in a way or like a touchback, maybe, I don't know. Or a safety, I guess is probably that's right. But either way, you get what I'm trying to say here. That's the only way it could get some points. So could it win? See, I've told you, I went down. I've thought too much about this, Zach.
Jesus Christ. I don't know if I've given that much thought to that question. Tell you what, if I'm thinking off the top of my head, sure, the star wins because I mean, I'm going to go with that.
But again, does it have a way to score? Because to me, the only way it could win, and even then this makes a challenge, but the team of Suns would have to kick the ball off and squash the other team in the end zone or something. Even then that wouldn't work, because then
it's a ball of energy. You can't. How do you fight that? How would you even fight that? That's my argument.
But again, I could see it. Here's the thing, though. It might be able to kill the other team, but I don't know if it could win a game. It might ultimately end in a tie, and that's not what we're trying to see. So it almost eliminates, weirdly enough, the stars from the conversation, because unless they can find a way to get that ball into a scoring position and maintain it, but again, the ball would incinerate. So I think you almost have to leave it out, right?
Fine. You know what? The breaker wins because it can possess the ball even with the wave smashing into the goal into the end
now
zone.
Again, can it now?
But you're saying if the star, Jesus Christ, I'm just saying if you're talking about ball possession.
No. I'm not saying that the breaker couldn't do that, but I'm saying what if? Like, okay, I don't know. I know Maulers carry hammers and they squash things and they maul things. But you know what they also have? They have shield and gear. And you know what you could use that shield and gear for? Surfboard. Surfboard. And I mean, think about that. Yeah, I got the ball. I'm a breaker coming in big tidal wave. Mauler swoops up the break, swoops up that wave, interception. I got the ball.
Thank God. Well, tell you what, the USFL saw what we're doing. They put in drafts. The draft picks. All right, round 8, pick 57 for the Generals. Tight end Jacob Williams from Western Kentucky. Meanwhile, pick 58 for the Michigan Panthers. Devin Ross, receiver and return specialist from Colorado.
You're right. They saw that. They had the stream on there. They're like, all right, guys, you got to get some picks out because they're talking some crazy things over on the podcast.
No, what I'm dying here, and this is why I love these live chats. So you got and you know he's gonna kill me. Rob Graysick here saying setting back podcast 10 years. Like, are we? I'm like, Jesus, are we?
We're setting them forward 15. I'm telling you, Zach, you know what I'm waiting for? And it's going to be soon. I've already planned on when we do our first virtual reality podcast. I'm already planning it. I don't know when it's gonna be, probably after the season at some point, but I want to test it out. And I have a way that people can do it without a virtual reality headset, so they can still get on from their computer. And I figure we could live stream it on YouTube anyway, too. But I think it'd be really fun if we could get a live audience, even if it's like 10 to 20 people, because I know headsets are expensive, but it is a free app online. So yeah, look forward to that one.
Let's see here. Devin Ross. So Colorado looks like he was most recently, if I'm gauging on news releases, was with the Patriots back in June. From what I can tell. Other places I'm looking up here. Just trying to get a bit more info here.
And while you're pulling that up, so we're less than 2 rounds to go. We got the Bandits up next with their second to last pick. Still waiting on it, though. Still waiting on the Bandits here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's see here. Ross's senior year at Colorado played in all 12 games, 11 starts, finished third in receptions for the team with 43, 508 yards, 2 touchdowns. Along with that, averaged 11.8 yards a reception as well.
Not bad.
And
I mean, for some of these guys that are realistically coming in for a practice squad, they're still coming in with some solid numbers and some solid experience, which is exactly what we want to see with these thin rosters. So, I mean, overall, there hasn't been, similar to the first night, there hasn't been a pick where I looked at it and say, well, I don't know if the team needs that. There's definitely been some guys that maybe I'm not brushed up on for sure. But this is why they're here. This is their opportunity to where we learn those names. But we do have the Bandits pick in here. Travis.
Yeah, we also have the Stars pick too.
Nice.
Sorry. Rapid fire here.
Travis Feeney from Washington, outside linebacker, coming in for the Bandits. And you said the Stars are in. Who do they got here?
Yeah, 60th pick overall. We have Ahmad Dixon from Baylor listed as a safety and cornerback.
Okay. All right. And that's coming to the Stars. Would have liked to see them go to the Gamblers. I'm not going to lie, just for that. I like that local flair there.
And now we got the 61st pick, which is Josh Shaw, USC, cornerback and safety.
Okay. So, yeah, we're really getting down to just finalizing these last spots for each of these teams here, which, again, is expected. This is the last 2 rounds of all of the drafts, right? Other than maybe we'll see some guys picked up throughout the season. If we do, it's going to be rare, I think. I don't think we're going to see like a lot of like week 3, this guy signed on. You're not going to see that. But, you always have to account for injuries and things like that. So I could see a situation where they replace some of these guys in the practice squad, depending on how everything's shaken out too, as they get called up.
Right. And those last 2, you got hybrid-esque positions, so definitely more flexible, someone that you're going to call up a little bit. Again, that's kind of the assumption we're taking with ones that are multi-positional ones listed on these graphics, is they're most likely there to either practice squad based, or it's if you are an emergency reserve, you're going to call someone up. And we just got our 62nd pick, the Maulers, picking up a tight end, Hunter Thedford from Utah.
Did we, and you may have said it, so I apologize. Did we announce Josh Shaw for the Stallions? You may have. Okay, yes. Good. I think you did, and I just couldn't remember, and I just want to make sure we didn't forget anybody. So we got the Maulers up next. You just announced the Maulers. I'm sorry. Then the Breakers up next. Man, this is a bad idea. I've had like 2 sips. I don't know what happens to me when I start. Hey, Jesus, this is a lesson to all of you. Probably shouldn't drink beer when you're doing a live stream, at least.
Oh, you're killing me.
This is why I told him I'm not drinking during spring stock. We got a long day ahead of us. Too long to be doing stuff like that. But I will be having fun. I have fun either way. So it's a good thing. You should never have to be dependent on it to have fun. But it's never a bad thing.
Nah. Yeah, so let's see here. So for the Pittsburgh Maulers, we're talking about folks adding on tight ends to that depth. That's one of the positions. Again, only had 1 choice in the original draft. You had 1 round for tight ends. That was you didn't even have to pick tight end for that one too. So he will be joining one of the tight ends that I think we were most excited for from the spring league, Max Seibert over there with Pittsburgh. So definitely at least they have the option to go to explosive as well. And from the looks of things, Thedford is another one that is more of it appears to be a pass catching type for them.
Very good.
But again, I mean, the Maulers are probably going to be, from the looks of things, they could be a ground and pound just from how they're designing their offense.
For sure. Now, it is interesting. So we're back at the Breakers, and we're seeing Larry Fedora, again, take his time. He's being very methodical tonight, making sure that they have the right pick. And now, what is Jim here talking about living in Texas? Is this about me, or is this about something else? What did I say?
I'm not 100% sure what he's referencing to, and you live in Texas for. He's probably going to bring it up.
Oh, he'll give me the what for. I know he ain't scared of it.
He'll bring it up. You and I know him enough to say that.
So we're at the Breakers here, and then we're just 2 picks in, 2 picks left, and then we're in that final round. We're getting there. We're getting there.
And it still is well ahead of schedule compared to what we were tipped off.
Absolutely.
That is something that I will say. And we do have the Breakers pick in.
Very
now.
good.
More secondary pick here. Jerry Elder, Westchester, safety. That's what I got.
And so that puts the Gamblers for the last pick of the 8th round. And then we have 2 rounds left. 2 big old bad rounds left. We're flying. We're having a good time. And now it'll be interesting to see what these last 2 rounds look like. Because, like I said, I think we started to see the teams really wrap up the essentials, if you will. And so let's see where they stack.
I'm still holding out. I mean, my other thought, because I was talking about, well, maybe they get quarterbacks later. But then again, so you have a limited roster size. Okay, that's fine. What if you just say screw it and your backup just runs the scout offense, I guess, is the other part. I mean, you have limited options. Say you don't want to invest in a QB and you want more depth. You're focused on depth of positions that have injury more rapidly or are possibly more rotation. Maybe that doesn't happen, and that the only reason I say it is because of the small rosters. Maybe they just go with that. They already have 2 QBs. Why not just stick with that? In an emergency, you then call someone up.
Right.
Why not?
It's very possible. Well, here we go. Theo Redding.
The Gamblers did get there. Yeah, Theo
Redding. And again, that's another name that does sound familiar. And I'm trying to remember, but he played at Bowling Green just because I did forget to announce that. So the Gamblers now have 2 picks left, and that's the end of the 8th round. So as expected, it seems like we'll probably get another quick little break in between rounds. But let's take a look here at Theo Redding.
Well, your hunch was right on familiarity. I'll let you do the
here we go. Detroit Lions, sign me up. Restore the Roar. Have some time with Washington, Green Bay, and then we have the Guardians, of course, and then Toronto Alouettes. So another guy coming from the CFL. That's, I mean, at least according to Wikipedia still, it shows 2021 to present. So we saw this a good amount in the inaugural draft. A lot of guys, which, I mean, looking at this, there was a lot of people that didn't expect to see a lot of CFL guys jumping ship, but they are. And not only did he play for the Lions, he's from Warren, Michigan. So he's like a local Michigan guy. Now he's playing in Houston.
Well, I thought one thing that was an interesting stat from the draft that kind of got talked a lot about, posted, and even with the Derek Jones piece to it, which there's some people talking with him, it sounds like he might be trying to sit out to get out of the CFL. Long story short, is that there were 55 players on the negotiations lists alone that moved to the USFL as a choice, And I think, it didn't raise a bunch of eyebrows with CFL people. I mean, people were like, okay, dang, that is a lot, but it's still a secondary league that needs to prove it's around, which that's just me being honest that we know that already. But 55, a lot of us were still like, man, you want to, if you're able to stay home and you're taking the option, that's what happened there. A lot of people said, I'm signing up to the draft. Here we are.
You know what? Sign them up too. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a little healthy competition between the leagues. I mean, it'll keep them on their feet to make sure the standards are good enough to make sure that the players pick them over the others. So, I mean, sign them up. The people up north, they're not too thrilled about it, but I mean, I get that too. I wouldn't be either, right? If you started losing guys. But I mean, this happens every time we see a new spring league pop up. We do see a decent amount of these guys do choose to play in the States. And there's a lot of reasons. I mean, none of this has anything to do with the USFL. I mean, quite honestly, if you live in Texas, it's a lot easier to work in the United States. There's tax reasons, there's travel reasons, there's just different restrictions, especially now after illness that we shall not name, that quite honestly, it makes things a little bit easier, especially when you have things like families. I mean, a lot of these guys have young kids. We're talking like just born. That, I mean, you go outside the country, again, look at what happened with the illness that shall not be named. Some of these guys, I mean, there's people that you still can't openly intertravel in some of these places, right? And if something happens again and you get quarantined or something like that, I mean, something to think about. Maybe not the greatest example, but An example, a reason.
It's an example. We got our first round 9.
All right.
pick.
All right.
Again, the continuation on depth. I keep emphasizing the depth on certain spots. So round 9, Stallions are up on deck. It is an offensive guard pick, Marquez Tucker, Southern Utah.
Marquez Tucker. All right. Southern Utah, and we've seen, I think that's either the second or the third one coming out of Southern Utah
we've seen a few
today.
of those. Yeah, a few of those tonight. Yeah.
Now, I'm just hoping there are, like I said, there's still a couple guys in here that I want to see. We talked about Zim. We talked about Jeremiah Spicer. So I mean, we're getting to that point where I'm hoping we see some of those familiar names come across the table, right? Just if anything for the fact of, I mean, I support all these guys, but I mean the ones that, especially if you have a chance to talk to some of them, I mean, then you're really supporting them because it's like
I know
you have a kind of an insight into everything that they're doing to kind of work themselves onto the field too, right?
Oh yeah, I've stressed this. I love player interviews. You know, I've said that with, like, you know, I mentioned earlier Jeff Badette's one, and of course telling you about Ben Holmes. But other ones I've done even lead up before we did this show, like with Gridiron Gallery. Like, I love doing those discussions. And the other one, and folks I've had that are looking to get this league that are coming in, like we said, Jeremiah Spicer, I've talked with him before. One that I really was hoping, I mean, there's still time, you know, there's still another 15 picks that we're waiting on. Antoine Grant, I really want to see him stud in arena football. And if you guys, any of you in the chat watch arena, or any of you listening to this post our live stream watch arena, guy can ball. You know, dude's been to the NFL. He was at Western Kentucky and played super well there too. That's somebody I've been watching for. Obviously, we've mentioned Zimbalist Williams on here a ton in both live streams and in other shows. Guy does a great job promoting.
That's for
himself.
sure.
I mean, seriously.
That's for sure.
He has been promoting like crazy this week. Good job on his part. You know, shout out to him. And that's all it's the best you can do. Show your film, get your name out there. I mean, that's a way that to get the opportunity out there and to try and put yourself at least in the spotlight. Not even if you don't get on this, it helps try and move you with other leagues. Like Arena's an avenue. And I still even think, like, no joke, the MLFB keeps on showing stuff. And I'm like, maybe that's
who would have flipping thought?
It's weird for me to still say that, but that's the case. Ooh, we got
and
two more. One of these is very familiar.
The Gamblers pick I'm very happy with. Tyler Palka coming in wide receiver and quarterback from Gannon. Is that how you say that?
Yeah, that would be it.
So
Palka was with the Defenders guys. I mean, that was a very popular name with those fans.
Yeah.
Interesting receiver quarterback. So that has to be your practice squad
for sure. For sure. So we're starting to see it. We're starting to see that come in. Your prediction is coming. Well, it did come to fruition. You said the last 2 rounds.
It seems that way. And then let's see, Tejan Koroma.
And that's for the Panthers?
Koroma, yeah. That is for the Panthers from BYU. Listed as a center and guard.
Right. Good old BYU boy, man. I'll tell you, Salt Lake City, Utah is such a beautiful, beautiful city. I love that city. I did a tour of BYU while I was out there, and the whole Mormon temple. I mean, I'm not Mormon. I'll be out there and say that. But I mean, when I knew that there was never going to be a time I was going to be in Utah again. So, I mean, you might as well do what they do in Utah.
When in essentially the mecca of said religion or skew of religion, you know. I
learned real fast. I learned real fast not to buy beer at a normal grocery store. It's only 2% in Utah. You have to go to a state-run liquor store where there's only like 10 in the state.
I forgot about those. I've heard about that before even this show that is a thing.
It was horrible because I didn't realize it until I bought my first 6-pack of beer. And then I sat down and drank like 2 and I just felt full. And then I was like, wait a minute. There's something I remember. There's something I remember about Utah. And I did a quick Google search. I'm like, oh, you got me. You got me with your soft beer. So be warned.
Looks like we got another pick in, too.
Brandon Haskin, Tennessee State, coming in for the Generals. Multi here, offensive tackle, guard, and center.
So just linemen.
Yeah.
Like why not just let's just put linemen
Right.
on there. I'm assuming that's what you had in the graphics department, but I would have just typed in linemen, like, it is what it is.
You know what? They're having fun there. They're building it up. They're having a good time.
That's another Tennessee State guy. We've seen a lot of those too. Another HBCU school prospect picked up.
It's pretty neat. I mean, the NFL gets a lot of slack. I mean, there's so many things that are going on. But the one thing you can say about these spring leagues, alternative leagues, they are, BYU's in Provo. You know what I mean, buddy. Soft beer, Bud Light. You know what I mean, buddy. Everybody's coming down hard on me now. But I mean, realistically, that's one thing you don't see in these smaller spring leagues is they do really good when it comes to like diversity and giving different people a shot, especially with the HBUs and things like that. So, I mean, sign them up, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sign them up. One thing will say there, in terms of Brandon Haskett, before he announced the next pick, funny enough, he's actually his picture for that announcement is from his tenure with the Dragons. You can see he's got an XFL Dragons jersey and helmet set up already on there. Looks like a practice setup.
Right on.
So, was in that league, and we actually now 2 more picks now instead. Since I've been talking, the Breakers locking down their looks like their punter and their kicker here. Matt White from Monmouth.
All right. And then we've seen a couple guys from Monmouth so far. And then I believe the Stars have their pick up as well. Let me just locate them. I have a million things over on my side. Here we go. Here's the Philadelphia Stars. So coming in with the 70th pick of the draft, Jahar Jones from Miami, offensive guard. Now, that would be Miami, Ohio, I believe, or not, because they didn't specify.
That is definitely Miami,
I
U.
See. All right. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, that is definitely the U. Matt White, by the way, for clarification, he's going to probably be more the punter, as the Breakers already do have, of course, kicker Austin McGinnis from Kentucky already in their roster. Just wanted to specify that. But yeah, that is definitely the right. U. I understand the confusion. I'm a Maction guy, Ball State alum. It's there.
Every time I see Miami, it's weird. My brain is wired differently to automatically think Ohio now because of the school. And you see so many people that just assume it's Florida too, even though it says Ohio. Like they almost always, they're like, nope, it's the Ohio one. Just so you know. So we got the Maulers coming up next so they'll be the 2 picks from the last round.
Time is running short on these picks.
Let's see. Let's give the Maulers a little refresh here and see what we got. Nothing quite yet. So we're down to a round and 2 picks. Maulers and Bandits. Then Bandits up next. Then they're ending it out with Maulers, Stars, Breakers, Generals, Panthers, Gamblers, and the Stallions are ending it off tonight, getting the courtesy of the last pick here. Overall, again, very smooth. We've been going in a little bit over 2 hours now. The event itself, the stream's a little bit longer. Probably wrap this up, I'd say probably in the next 10, 15 minutes. At least the draft. We'll do a little banter afterwards. But overall, pretty fun episode 10. I'm glad you guys came here to join us. Next time we're going live, unless something real crazy happens, is Spring Stock. So go find the video, go find the scheduled stream, hit the reminder, bookmark it, do whatever you need to do. Unless you're coming down to Birmingham, come and party with us. But let's see, do we have the Maulers? Right. Are they up yet?
Not yet. And I was actually looking to see, never mind. You spoke it into existence. They get their punter, Max Duffy from Kentucky. All right. Wow, that really rolled off the tongue super well.
Sign him up just for that alone.
Max Duffy from Kentucky.
Gonna do a punty.
Mauler's getting that another one that's just locking down the essentials is what you're needing there. I was looking at other teams that need like the punter, kicker, long snapper. So one of them I'm looking, my Panthers, they are still waiting on one. I have not seen one tonight. They did not draft one on draft night. I'm assuming within their coming up, they are going to grab one for themselves.
It's their last pick.
We're saying they already have punter Michael Carrizosa from San Jose State. They will need to get that locked down unless Carrizosa is like a Matt Mangle where he's doing a double duty.
Which he very well might be. He might be, right? I mean, you got some of these guys that are used to doing that, honestly, especially with some of the smaller schools. So we'll see. So we got the Bandits coming up, 2 picks in a row, and then it rounds everybody out. And here we go.
Yeah, say right on cue.
Austrian Robinson from Ole Miss, defensive end, defensive tackle here. And I would assume that's Austrian. I assume if it's not, I apologize. But
that's how I would pronounce it, and that's how you'd pronounce it for Austrian, the person from Austria type. So one can assume that is the correct way of saying it. 8 picks left,
8 picks,
man.
1 round to go. We almost made it, but we're pretty dang close. So everybody in the chat, how's everybody feeling so far? How are you? First, what's your team? How do you feel like their overall draft? So inaugural draft, supplemental draft. How do you things are looking for your team? I already know what the Panthers fans got to say, but let us know anyway. If you're not a Panthers fan or whatever your team, let us know how you think it's looking. 1 round to go. 1 round left. And then, I mean, it's all eyes on training camp from there, which is set for, the 21st of this month.
Yeah, players report the 22nd, but 21st is the first official day.
Mm-hmm. So we're getting there.
So, yeah, time's coming up. I mean, that's what's kind of crazy. It's a 10th. We have less than 2 weeks till players report. We're going to be seeing a lot more content from the league, too. You know, they have been somewhat bare bones and social most of the time, but they are hiring people. Like, we saw those hiring posts a few months back. They'll have people there. If they don't have people there, I'd be darn right surprised, since they've been saying that they will keep the coverage up as much as possible moving forward.
Real quick, I just got to give a shout out to our boy, and again, I apologize if it's not, but Ewan, but I believe it's Ewan Ashcroft. 1 round to go. It's 2:15 in the morning where he's at in the UK. Sign you up for staying here with us and joining us and just hanging out with us. I seen there was a couple guys that look like from Australia as well. So we're getting all over the globe here. Why can't I wear this outfit in your Uber? What, do you have a thing against referees, Robert? Which I get it. I'm a Lions fan. I have plenty of problems with referees.
Robert, you're cracking me up, man. I'm just like, any post from him so far right now, I'm like, what's he going to say next? I'm like, it's a sipping the tea moment here.
I'll tell you, not going to lie. I'm a Lions fan. So you would expect, well, ref, why do you seem like you would hate the refs? Well, I kind of do. I'm sullying their names by taking their character and being so outlandish. Otherwise, I would probably be a normal person if I didn't wear this ref shirt. But that would be no fun.
I would not. All right, final round.
Who we got? So we got
Bandits have their final pick of the night.
You want to read this one off?
Yes, I will. Antonio Reed, Nebraska, listed as a strong safety and outside linebacker.
Filling those spots. So let's see. So we've seen one quarterback sorta come in this final 2 rounds.
Getting the vibe the backup QBs are going to be the scout team QBs. So, I as justified earlier, kind of makes sense with the smaller rosters, focus on just depth, and then everything else. If it's emergency, you got to do it that way. You got a combine coming up, you can scout people out for. So,
right on. Well, yeah, and that from American National Combines, which we touched on that earlier, but they have a lot of experience. So they worked with the AF, the XFL, and the Spring League, and now the USFL. So, I feel like they're in good hands. They helped set up the summer showcase for the XFL. Mm-hmm. So, if there's anybody, that's kind of who you want to be doing something like this. So I think it works out, and especially because it's not that they're a Team 9, not at all, but it does allow them to have a third-party scouting throughout the season just in case you do need to pull somebody up. So that puts us at the Maulers here. Let's see if the Maulers got their pick in yet.
And they just did.
Sign us up. Let's see who we got here. Darius Marang.
I was going to say the same way, too.
Cool. From Kansas.
I'm confident.
Defensive end, defensive tackle, offensive tackle. So Darius Marang. And again, I apologize, but I think that's right.
Again, that is how I would pronounce it.
At least I didn't say
otherwise
Maragni.
Otherwise, like we were talking, I'm at least one by the time it started the season. We have 95% of these names down packed. I'll gladly show you on social media a phonetics write-up that I put down of me so I could get these right fully for some that are harder. So yeah, Dennis Moran, Kansas, more an overall flexible guy for your scout team, as listed, of course, offensively and defensively. And now, now we're getting to really like for guys for teams that already have like all their key players knocked out now we're getting real scout team-esque type of guys. So like this next one, Stars, their final pick of the night, Paul Terry, listed as receiver, running back, and special teams player.
So yeah, they're spreading them out. They're getting, we kind of expected this, especially in the last round. And this is very similar to the NFL too, right? Once you get in that last round, you're just kind of filling where you might need a spot filled, whether it's going to be a practice squad, active roster, anything of that sorts. But that gives us just 5 picks left. Breakers are up next. And let's see what they got. Let's see if Fedora tips his hat quickly or tips his hat slowly. And he didn't tip it yet. No miladies just yet. Yeah.
It looks like they, at least according to my feed, so they have the 77th pick for the Generals out. They didn't put the Breakers, though. Because that one's listed as Alonzo Moore from Nebraska.
For the Generals, receiver. You're saying?
Okay. Yes. So the 77th is out. They didn't put the 76th, though.
And we do know the rules are as follows. If a team misses a pick, they can still make it. So they may have just needed the time. So it might just come through here shortly.
Very good point. Very observational point.
It's not very often that I do it, but I did it today.
So yeah, Alonzo Moore from Nebraska going in. That's just a standard receiver pickup.
So we have the Panthers up next, still waiting on the Breakers pick. So let's pull up both of these here side by side, just so we could take a look. Where are my Breakers? Let's see if anything comes in for them quite yet. We do. Here we go. Torrey Boyd from Howard coming in. Offensive center guard and tackle here.
Okay.
Torrey Boyd.
All right. Yeah, another one that like so that fills more of a scout team type of need. Flexible guy you can put in, shift around, get several looks for what you're looking for. But glad that young man's getting signed on to the full roster. So good for him.
So now we got Jeff Fisher up for his last pick. We're just giving him, he's just taking his time here, but keeping the suspense going. I'm kind of glad the last round isn't just flying by. We have a chance to kind of look at everything soaking in. There's a couple in those early rounds where I'm like, oh my God, there's 4 picks out already. We need to catch up.
Right.
So, but I say the pace has been pretty good today. It's not too fast, not too slow at all. And there's a little bit of time in between the rounds, but overall, we're looking pretty slick today.
We sure are. Yeah. We absolutely. I think, we were coming in. They weren't as announcy about this, credit, they dropped the details. We've been told some ish behind the scenes, but we weren't told like everything.
We didn't know that, like, for instance, the draft order. I reached out to a couple people this morning, and they said, yeah, you should know by this afternoon. I said, good enough. That's all I need to know. Right. I just want to be prepared for the stream.
That's cool.
But yeah, there wasn't a lot that we, we were pretty much where everybody else was, right? Kind of going into this, not knowing exactly how it goes. We knew that it was going to be a free-for-all, meaning there wasn't, position by round. We knew there was going to be 10 rounds, 8 picks per round. But, beyond that, we're with you. And that's why I think this is fun. We were talking about this on Pro Football Alliance. I think, realistically, I like to be an ambassador to the community. But at the end of the day, I'm a fan. You're a fan. And I feel like it's just fun to talk with the fans, having the opportunity in these chats, in these live streams. And, again, hopefully it's spring stock, depending on how many people show up. Hopefully a lot. But, that's what really makes it fun for me, is kind of learning with y'all. Guessing with y'all, speculating with y'all.
Well, and it looks like we got our answer for the Panthers, and this answers my question too. I I had seen this as well after the fact, mentioning the kicker. Well, the Panthers need a long snapper, so it looks like that they are going to do it's going to be a 2-parter from what I would guess with Michael Carrizosa. It looks like. So they picked up Shane Griffin, Westchester, long snapper.
Sign him up.
And it looks like
we're coming in.
The Stallions dropped theirs, so the Gamblers are still getting
We got
theirs,
the Gamblers right here. So we have Stanley Green, Illinois, cornerback, coming in for the last pick of the Gamblers here. Stanley Green. And you said the final pick. Yeah, who do we got here?
Final pick of the night. And really, I guess if you want to talk about overall Mr. Irrelevant of the USFL inaugural draft, Bobby Holly, Louisiana Tech. Louisiana Tech. What do you know? The connection. Fullback, running back, tight end. And that's all
a wrap. We made it, guys. We made it through all 10 rounds. Now, I do see in the chat there's some folks that are, where's this player? Where's that player? I mean, it was expected that, not everybody could get in. But this is why it's great that we're seeing this kind of resurgence of spring football, because there's more opportunities than ever. And correct me if I'm wrong, you're the arena guy, but this weekend, that's kicking off. Is that right?
Oh, yeah, I'm pumped for that, by the way. IFL and CIF, so Indoor Football League and Champions Indoor Football, 2 of the top 3 leagues that are in the scene, besides National Arena League. Jim would know in the chat. Of course, he would not let me go if I didn't say that league. They're kicking off this weekend. That's going to be a blast, and some of those guys are going to go back to that. Like Antoine Grant, he signed on with the Albany Empire in the National Arena League. You will want to see him play. I mentioned him earlier. Definitely check him out. There are a lot of arena guys that were in this draft, from what I understand. They just didn't get picked up. So that's an option. Go check out that league. And honestly, there's other options too. Like I said, now for league purposes, at least for the USFL, now it's all about who do you keep in contact with, because I imagine the contract guys, you're going to keep their phone number close for emergencies. The combine guys, you're going to keep the best ones there close for emergencies. Again, 45 total roster is a small roster in the grand scheme of football. It really is. So you want to keep those guys close. And then, in terms of opportunities outside the USFL, again, indoor leagues, MLFB is somehow, some way looking like they might actually play. So that's also on the table. You have the FCF that has been doing some scouting. Love them or hate them, they're an option. I'm going to give you that.
You get paid and you play. Sign them up. Yep. It's an opportunity.
Simple as that. And then if you're somehow able to get into the Europe scene, plenty of places there. ELF, I think they still are signing players out for the European League of Football for their now 12 teams that are out there. So, there's options still. It's just, it sucks because we wanted to see some players get there. That's the thing. We root for them. I saw why. Like we're seeing in the chat, where's Zim? Where's Brandon Silvers? Where's Luis Perez? Well, Luis Perez, it sounded like was rumored he might not even be in it anymore. I'm nothing confirmed on that. That's complete speculation zone type of material.
If we are going to speculate, I do have a feeling that the XFL may be trying to make a play as well for some of these guys. And so there may be something there.
Because remember, the stipulation of the contracts are, and they do have options for year 2, if you opt in next year, you can't go to the XFL because they're rivals. Next year they are going to be full blown competing against each other. So they want their best players to stay. And I think that if you're a player that's like, I got some time, I can buy it. Maybe I want back in. That's something to weigh.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's something to weigh. You got to think about that.
So it's on to the next one now. Like I said, now we have both drafts out of the way. We have the training camp starting up, which if I were a betting man, today's the 10th. So we have 11, 12 days until training camp starts. I would say that puts me on a target I think we're going to see the rule book probably next week or maybe right before training camps on that Monday on the 21st.
I'm getting good vibes on that. They're now doing it week by week drops.
Multiple drops a week,
the rule book. Yeah, the rule book's the next thing that's going to have to fall in line, the next foot to hit the ground. It's coming. And you would think before training camp, just so even players know what
right,
to do.
Right. I would assume at least the quarterbacks already have the rules.
Yeah, let me phrase that so that the intricacies, the ones that are new to the game, because I imagine people are listening are like, well, what are you talking about? It's mostly NFL rules, so they should know.
There's stuff.
We want to know about the new stuff, and players probably want to know about some of the new stuff too, because coaches will want to do that too. Like, I mean, their overtime. We're hearing stuff about their overtime that we're like, they're going to want to practice that. Shootout styles with practice squad team members and all that of the like. Those are things you do in training camp and in practice you want to get ready for. And every other various piece that might be different. Like, for example, rumored reviews of roughing the passer or contact for hitting a helpless receiver. Right. Those are things you got to be prepared for in this league. They're going to be able to review those and be a little less quick draw on the flags is what it's
for sure,
like.
For sure. And I mean, at least it sounds like when we do get those reviews, if you will, we're probably going to get a closer look at it. Similar to, I think, what we saw in the spring league, where we have some of those training refs kind of getting spoken to from the guys above, explaining what would have to happen for some of these plays to be called in certain different ways. Right. And I honestly got a kick out of that during the last time around. Arlington Lane, my brother. Hey, good. Thanks for joining us, dude.
Hey.
Have a good night. I also saw David Sislinski, which again, I apologize if I got your name wrong or if we get your name wrong, but thanks for appreciating the show. Thanks for all the support too, as well. Thanks everybody in the chat for really just sticking with us, hanging out with us. We'll probably wrap up a couple things. I don't know if there's really any big topics we'll go over, but hopefully next week, for episode 11, now that we're in double digits, hopefully we'll be talking about that rule set. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I want to see for episode 11. Otherwise, maybe we'll have to kick up that conversation again about if a star can score in a game of football.
Oh my God.
Because I don't know. I'm going to have a whole week again to come up with some new strats here.
That's a poll. You need to put that as a poll series. Is what that's my suggestion while we're here. Take that as you will, but
we're having too much fun. It's only Thursday.
Or it's a running gag at the end of every show moving forward. Just, well, who would win in this scenario? So let's see. A horse versus a panther. Unfortunately, it feels kind of easy, but there's arguments to be made. Nonetheless, save that for another.
I'm telling you, it's going to be a great conversation for spring stock.
No, it'll come up at spring stock. That's what's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'll bring a whiteboard to make sure that's like tallied so that it happens. Who wins these matchups? And it'll be the weekend matchups too. You know what I want? One thing I want to end with. This is a real far circle back, but just for tonight's pieces. We talked about the opening game. How's about having a triple header on Sunday?
I'm telling you, I'm half excited and half scared. Half excited and half scared because I just know that's 3 games in a row. You and I are going to be covering back to back that day. But it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it, but it's going to be a long day. I mean, quite honestly, Zach, I might be reporting on that last game from the Airbnb because I got an early flight that Monday. Well, not early, but it's at 8 a.m. So that might be the possibility. But man, triple header, Easter Sunday. And I mean, the other kind of takeaway we got from that's kind of related is there is no Monday night games, just Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There was maybe speculation or hope. I don't know which bucket you want to put it into, that we might see some Monday night games sprinkled throughout the season, but at the end of the day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now I will say this, they have the potential to create a nice tradition for themselves, similar to Thanksgiving football with the NFL. And
right. That's right.
So that's kind of an interesting play there. Easter's always on a Sunday, so you'll always have that opportunity, right? And now this is kind of this year it worked out, but it did work out perfect. You're right. You kind of have bookends of holidays. From Easter to 4th of July is USFL season. And I don't know, that's kind of neat in itself. 3 games in a row. It's going to be fun. but it's going to be a gauntlet to cover. Get the comfortable shoes that day, my friend Zach.
Yeah, I'm getting the vibe. I'm going to be the one I'll be like, I'll catch you later. I'm going to be here and get protective, But I'll be fine with that. Look, I thought similar vein as you in terms of like when we were talking about that with others on either Discords or, just between ourselves, everyone likes the Thanksgiving holiday is like, what do you think about for that day? Football, food, getting together with friends and family and just having a full day of just people. Easter's kind of like that, just no football. And that's I think that's how you market it. I mean, hell, Edward Hartman's already said on social before, like, how's about that Easter football? Like, that's what I'm saying. It matches up. You got a big old honey ham. You make that, as the game is kicking off at around noon, and you got a few more games coming up. That's just like Thanksgiving. There's 3 games on Thanksgiving anymore. You got 3 USFL games. It fits so
I think it's perfect. Well, I joked about it. I joked about it last week on the show that I said, I always call Easter Thanksgiving of spring. And I mean, now it's really just came to that reality. Now it is Easter of spring. I mean, you're getting the football and you get to eat a lot. I mean, in this case, I'm traveling, but I'm telling you, I'm bringing what do you call it? Ziploc bags full of goodies. I don't know what it's going to be, but we got an Airbnb, we got a kitchen, we got all sorts of stuff. So at least we can make something up, get a big hearty breakfast. But that is one thing. And then I know, whatever, we're on the air. I don't care. We do need to make sure we look ahead of time and see what is open on that Sunday, because the chances are we're going to want to leave that stadium at some point and either get a water or get away.
That's a really good point, because, and I didn't even think about that. Like, I'm so focused on the football right now. Easter's kind of like, it's a holiday. I mean, you shut things down,
especially in the South. My
worry
friend,
about going
people
home.
like Easter in the South.
Home businesses, man, or sorry, local businesses that want to be with their families that day. I don't know. I hope at least one good barbecue place is open.
Yeah, that was my hope. Well, worst case, we're going to be there the day before. That
sounds kind of like, that makes me sound like I'm undervaluing the area, but for barbecue. But I'm like, I hope it's open because of holiday might interrupt chances for said open barbecue. Or we got to do it on Saturday. Like, that's the other thing.
We're getting barbecue on Saturday. We're getting it one way or another, and we're getting Crystal Burger. I'm telling you, that's on my. I already have it mapped out. The airport, the Crystal Burger, the Airbnb. I already know the route. I'm
pretty sure Crystal's going to be open. That's like that should be open. At the very least, we'll get Crystal. I'm good with sliders.
Yeah. Well, I saw they got little chili dogs too, and that kind of piqued my interest.
Yeah, haven't had those, but it'll be on my list. I had the burgers. Like I said, I'm a White Castle guy. It's very similar to White Castle. That's all you need to know.
Hey, if it's similar enough, I'm happy. I mean, I still eat the frozen ones, and the trick is steaming them. If you microwave them, they're hot garbage. If you steam them, honestly, they're almost just as good as getting them from the store. But then you don't get the fries or any of that, and I love the White Castle fries.
You microwave it. The moisture goes out of the bun. It's not right. You steam it.
Yeah, it's tasty. Oh, now I'm just getting hungry. Now I'm getting salivating.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. Well, I don't know about you. I think that's about it.
That is it. I think we've talked about everything we talked about. We went over every pick of the draft, other than the second day of the draft. But I mean, that would have been a long haul, and we do have day jobs.
Goodbye.
But I will say this. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Make sure if you're not, hit the subscribe button, click the bell. It builds morale. Go follow us at USFL Podcast, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're probably most active on Twitter, but we're getting there on the others. Make sure you follow us personally at The Ref Says over on Twitter, at Grid Gallery Pod, and at Zach Kyleman over on Twitter. See, I'm getting there. We do have the other giveaway where we're giving out a jersey, the road to 100K, next stop 5,000. We're giving out a jersey, an official jersey from the USFL shop of your choice. Those are pre-order until about May-ish, but this is your chance. Road to 100K, next stop 5,000. Easy like the last time. Click the subscribe, click the bell, build morale. You're entered into the bad boy. Thanks, Ewan, for stopping by, especially because it's so late where you're at. Thanks, everybody, for joining us, especially the international people, because I know I mean, it's 8:30 mine time, 9:30 Eastern, so it's getting late overseas. So we sign you up there. Anything I'm missing, Zach, before I wrap this bad boy up?
No, you know what? I think you got it all. I'm just, like I said, I'm excited for what's ahead for us and for the league. We're going to get actual people on the ground here in 2 weeks. Things are going to keep picking up. I'm just more preparation for us to get spring stock, but it's going to happen. It's going to be real good. And I cannot stress that enough that we are going to have a blast, and we hope to see you there.
It's going to be fun.
That's all I can say.
I mean, even if you don't like us, come shake our hand, get a free burger, take some money out of our pocket. I won't be mad. I just want to see your face. But yeah, I think that's about it. So, hey, until next time, we're coming back next Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern at our regular spot. But tomorrow, don't forget, we got that interview with Ben Holmes of the New Jersey General dropping at our regular 9 a.m. spot. So get in where you fit in. Until next time, sign you guys up.